massive cliffhanger.
Mm.
And then
The next station is
after that, it was like,
Jubilee line.
you fucking put me off.
Damn it, Simon.
Simon, mute yourself, you dickhead.
Yeah.
Oh, I
was he?
apologise. I didn't know. I didn't realise it was that loud.
He's joined the call on the tube.
What I love is literally the moment Rob started recording, it was like, the next station.
Simon, you're doxed.
That
Oh,
was a
sorry,
perfect.
whoops.
That was a perfect response to like Pat being like, "I can't believe it." Well, I'm sorry. I didn't
How have you
realise
even
the
got
West
signal,
Ham
Simon? I
was-
can't never get signal at that point.
Oh no, because like I'm like above ground now. Essentially, I'm using my fucking 4G.
Ah.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, I should not have been working today. So I'm actually very
Good stuff.
well. I'm just tired. Essentially, I had to take hay fever medicine and all that shit because I'm sleepy. I'm sick. I'm now extra tired from being at work from when I shouldn't be at work. So all that shit.
Oh, man. If it makes you feel any better, Simon, I feel exactly the same, except I was supposed to be working today, and I did. But still.
You suck.
I know.
I love you. I love you, really.
Don't tell him
Suck,
that.
McLean.
Can't believe I suck for needing to work today, actually doing it, and then being tired.
No, it's joking.
No, it's fine, I understand.
But yeah, every time the speaker comes up, I'll make sure to mute myself just in case. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to.
This has been a great opening. House of Cards and then Mind the Gap.
I mean, well, no, I'm not going to make that joke. Never mind.
I know where that was going.
It's one of those things where like your brain makes a joke and then you remember who you're talking about and what they did, and it's like, no, you know what? It's not worth it.
Oh wait, are we talking about Spacey?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I can understand where your mind went to that joke. That's not a good joke to make.
I don't know what you're talking about. Sounds like your mind's a problem.
Sorry, I was just flipping through the live feed, and Emmanuel, are you just trying to start an OnlyFans? Your feet are on the camera. What the hell is wrong with you?
This is free. This is the free content.
How did you get your feet over there?
Yeah, that's
Okay, that's even worse. That's even worse. I'm sorry. That's even worse. I do apologise.
Camilla.
I didn't mean. Okay.
Simon, looking at a man's wife's feet, you pervert.
Oh, fucking hell.
Well, I didn't
Everyone-
know that you were you're putting this on YouTube, right?
Oh, it's going on
This
YouTube right now.
is
It's fine. There'll be
It's on
some.
YouTube at the minute.
It's live as fuck.
Yeah, it's always gonna like report this, and like it's gonna get instantly demonetized. Everything could be taken down, but shut
fair,
the shit
if-
down, right?
If Humphrey's bum didn't do it last week.
Oh no, you say that, but feet are much worse than bums to a lot of online stuff.
Yeah,
this time.
drug
I
is
don't know. This,
I'm not even
this
kidding.
either means demonetization or it means like monetization.
I just love the idea that everyone thought Emmanuel had managed to contort himself and get his feet there.
Okay.
Join to the
I
I
was-
always knew Emmanuel was some kind of eldritch horror. He could just move his feet around.
Jesus Christ.
Wait, I think I've played this game before.
Okay, should we get started?
Yeah.
Okay, don't all fucking agree at once. That's fine.
Okay, yeah. I mean, after like 5 stops, I've got about 5, 10, or 5, maybe 6 stops away, so I should be. So I'll just listen to you guys from now.
Yeah, we'll see you at Bow Road or something.
He's just gone past Upminster, to be fair.
No, he hasn't. It's
No,
a train
no,
to
but-
Upminster.
Who's that? Watch
How was it?
Yeah, he.
Yeah,
I'll be mad.
just
You've
gone
missed
past
his
up the
stop like
street,
6
the upper
times
train.
over.
I was gonna say, I've got no grasp on how the tube works now. I thought he was at West Ham a minute ago.
Yeah, he was.
He was like what a
Was.
which would have been like 4 stops from West Ham, I think.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm at. Yeah.
Did you do that on
There he
purpose?
is.
Yes, obviously.
Okay, good. I was gonna say, it'd be very funny if you just accidentally muted yourself just at the moment.
I'm at.
Good
Yes.
Denver Broncos.
Okay, so okay, let's get back on track.
Okay, so
Baby
if
Driver.
anyone has anything that they want to say and they feel like the conversation's moved too fast, yeah, just use the raise hand function and we'll get back to you and hopefully,
Or just
Raise
shout.
hand.
or just fucking yell at the top of your lungs and
Would you stop that?
order.
Order.
Go on, Simon, take it away.
Objection.
Wouldn't it, shouldn't it be John because it's his pick?
Yeah.
John, why'd you pick this film?
Oh, now you want to talk to me, Alec?
No.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to say how long people will be silent for. Yeah, no, like as I was saying in the chat yesterday, well, there's plenty of movies that I would say like I really like or that I think are great, but there's very few that I would say is one of my favorites. I find it quite hard to list a movie as like in my favorites category. But this is one of them. As soon as I saw it, I was just like, this, it's just absolutely fantastic. It's, you know, it's not perfect. It's rare you find a movie that is, but there's just so much good about it. And yeah, I wanted to make my return a fun one.
Cool.
Would you say it's in your top 10 movies?
I mean, I don't think I even have a top 10. I couldn't even name you my top 5 off the top of my head. So I just say it's one of my favorites because I'm bad at actually putting movies in the favorites category.
I really
Okay.
thought that was going to be like a defiant speech there. Just, I don't think I have a top 10. I have a top 1, and it's Baby Driver.
No, like literally off the top of my head, the only movies I can think of is Baby Driver and in fact, I can't even remember which one it was, but it was one of the Captain America movies.
The one
Well, that's a
Alex-
roundabout way of saying it.
Just off the top of my head, my favourites are Baby Driver and one I can't think of.
Hell yeah.
Should we go around and do like what we did last week? Because I quite like
Yeah,
that.
let's do opening statements. Who wants to go first? Just keep it brief.
Well, I don't
How
mind
about
doing
you?
a quick one.
Oh,
No?
Who did you nominate?
I said Pat, but
You want to do it, Pat?
No.
No.
It's usually best to leave Pat for after, because you said you like to get your thoughts together, didn't you? Or have you watched the film a long while ago?
I watched it a few days ago.
Oh, okay.
But it's Pat, isn't it?
go on, Rob, take us away.
So I guess the thing so going into this, I was like, for some reason, Edgar Wright films don't hold up for me. And this is a rare example of one that did. And I think the reason that I really enjoyed this the second time round as well is because there's so many little bits peppered through it. Like everything that happens has like a payoff later on. And it's just so much fun, like when something happens, going like, oh, I wonder what that's going to lead to. And you can kind of like trust Edgar Wright to do it. So like as you're going through, you're going like, oh, that's referring to that. And then something else happens. You're like, oh, I wonder where that's going to go. And I don't know, that's just a really fun experience for me. So I think that's a big part of why I enjoyed it so much a second time. And yeah, I was really surprised with it because I was kind of thinking like, oh, maybe I'll score this like a 7 point something because just going on like past form with Edgar Wright, like there's probably going to be something that annoys me this time, or there's going to be something that isn't quite there. But I didn't really pick up on anything, which I was quite surprised by. So yeah, I really enjoyed this as our first Edgar Wright film.
So I broke your streak, is what you say.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, who wants to go next? Of course, I'm pulling fucking teeth, isn't it?
But I mean, it's a bit crowded where I am, so I think I'll go a bit after Pat or before Pat.
Those are the options.
I'll go and then I'll pick someone next to make it easier.
Cool.
So, what you call it? Quick take. Huh? Oh, you want to join? Yeah. You was talking. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure. She's attacking me.
Attacking you.
I think that means you should shut up, Emmanuel, and get on with it.
What's it
Or she
called?
beats you up.
No. Anyway, this film, it's okay. Could have been better. Some things that didn't quite make sense.
We'll see about that.
At the end of the day, it's still fun, just like I remember it. But watching it again, I remembered all the things that made no sense. Anyway, either John or Alec.
Oh, do I still do one? I thought my intro was that.
Okay, yeah, Alec then.
Okay. I'm probably in a similar sort of place to you, actually. This film's got like a very sort of special place in my heart because it was like the first sort of. Me and my sister don't usually like agree on films. We've got like a big history of just like, okay, we're gonna watch a film with dinner. What do you want to watch? And it's a process that takes just fucking days and days and days, and it's just dreadful. And I'm like, you should watch this film, and I'll put it on. And she's like, oh, this is fucking boring. I'm like, okay, well you do one then. And then I spent the whole time going, this is shit. Why are you making me watch this? Baby Driver was sort of the first one where she'd seen the trailer and I'd seen the trailer, and we were both like, this looks really cool. And it was like, oh wow, nice. And we like did our first sort of like cinema trip together to go and see it. But like, yeah, she'll always tell the story about like when we came back. I was just like so fucking amped up on Baby Driver energy that I was like just driving a bit more enthusiastically than normal, and she's just like, you went up on 2 wheels, and I'm like, shut up, no I fucking didn't. And it's it's all just stuff like that. And yeah, I really love how well it's put together. I really like this film. Yeah, but watching it again, I'm kind of in a similar place to Emmanuel. There's some stuff that's a little bit wobbly, but we'll get into that. I picked Ben next.
When we first saw this film, I always remember being really impressed with it. And obviously I'm a big fan of Edgar Wright, like most of you guys. And this is always great to see him doing something that was a bit more serious, not so relying on the comedic timing of like
Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, yeah. That's what I was trying to think of. But I think it stands up very well, especially the more I see it, the more the details that he put into making it was, you can see it was his passion project. And the fact he had been wanting to make this film long before he wanted to do the Cornetto trilogy, long before Hot Fuzz, long before Shaun of the Dead. And he had been writing the script for years, and you can tell that it's something that every scene has like so much passion and care put into it. And I feel that everything comes together really well. And the more I see this film, the more I recognize that, and how he is like everything in the script comes out onto the screen so well in terms of the music and how the choreography and how the characters interact with each other and with what they're doing is really quite impressive. And that's probably the reason why I like it so much, for how these moving parts all sort of mesh together really well. And on the whole, the story really, really affects me, and it really works. And I think it's just a really good film. Yeah.
It was me a little bit of a panic there, Ben, because you lagged out for a second, and it sounded like you said Con Air trilogy.
Oh, that's what I thought you said as well.
I was like, I am not aware of this.
Like, what? And then he said Hot Fuzz, and I was like, oh, Cornetto.
Yeah, it did sound like that. I was laughing in my head.
Put the cornetto down.
Like, wow, I didn't know Edgar Wright did that.
I'm just thinking of your head as like a Russian nesting doll, and there's like a smaller Emmanuel just going, and then it's like, we do this in the big one, and he's like, nah, it's fine.
We don't need to make a show of it.
Right, Ben, you got a choice of nominating Pat or Simon.
Oh, I think we know what that choice is.
It depends on Simon's signal. How many bars?
I mean, I think it's more where he is currently and how many people are around
station?
him.
Yeah, what station?
Do Pat first. I'm like a couple of stations away.
Okay. So
Okay, Pat, make it a long one.
Make it 10 minutes.
First time you heard that.
No pressure, right?
Just do a rendition of the song that he created.
I'm not a singer.
Neither is he.
So this is a film for me that probably gets better every time I watch it. Regardless of the not more than misdemeanors of the
Misdemeanors.
regardless
That's a
of
nonce patrol.
the actions of two of the main actors.
Oh, God, if that's a misdemeanor.
I'm not going into this.
Oh no, here comes the nonce patrol.
I love that you like completely optionally brought it up and then was like, I'm not going into it.
I'm not saying the words. I'm not saying the words.
You won't trick me. You won't trick me into saying nonce. Shit.
That's for you know.
N-O-N-C, N-O-N-C.
It's an extremely well written film. With, like great action, great characters, great music. Every time I watch it, I have a great time with it. So yeah.
I was really hoping you were going to slip up there and just go like, it was a really well written story.
I was actually trying to be serious for once.
It was a fantastic soundtrack.
Pat, noncing is very serious, I'll have you know.
Huh?
I said noncing is very serious.
Yeah, but that's the subject for real life, not fictional.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's subjective, and I was like, don't go down this road.
Right, there's one thing we can all agree on.
Oh God.
Let's move on before we get shut down.
Nonce.
Okay. So it's my go, right?
Yeah.
If you're ready.
Okay. How to explain Baby Driver in a few sentences? It's a very artistic production that has lacks substance because the actors are a bit truthfully, I guess is the best way to explain it. And like because of the actors, that it makes it drop down. It's art without substance is the best way to explain it.
That's quite a common criticism for Edgar Wright.
Yeah, but like even when he did his Cornetto stuff with the Hot Fuzz stuff, right? It was funny and it had characters and the characters have character. But everything, but in this movie, it was like they're kind of lacking a bit of character. Oh, wait.
I keep going to butt in and say something like, no, this is an introduction. Don't say anything.
Yeah. Same.
I think he's getting off, or he's just fallen off the train.
I think the signal's just gone. I think around
Did-
barking it.
He did not mind the gap.
Oh no!
Or he's getting wet for
There's
saying
a
it has no
bunch of-
substance.
It's just like the main part of it is like there is no substance to the art, so it kind of is just lots of beautiful colors, but just because the colors are, it's like a rainbow. That's not a bow. It's just colors on the sky. It's just very.
I think
It's
the
like-
thing with Edgar Wright though is like I think I've kind of understood his films a bit more the more that I've heard him on podcasts and stuff, because he's a huge film geek, and when you kind of like realize what his influences are, you kind of notice what he's trying to do a bit more. And I think with Baby Driver, I think the reason that it seems like it doesn't have substance a little bit is because it's basically just a bunch of things like smashed together that he wanted to do. So like it's a little bit of a musical, it's a little bit of a crime thriller, it's a little bit of an action film, and it's just Yeah, I think it's quite kind of ambitious in that way, because I think when you're trying to like mash all of those things together, it's inevitable that people aren't going to get it. So I think that's why that's like a common thing with this, because it's sort of when you're trying to do all of those things at once, you know, what seems like quite a clear vision in your head probably isn't so much for an audience.
Okay, sorry.
Simon's
I
got
just
his
have to say, it's also the part that is like art of no substance, is because unfortunately he's doing heist movies, but heist movies are about building up the plan to the heist, right? There is again no substance because he just robs the bank, but it's like all the planning is not there. There's no like building of the characters again. So again, it's very lax. What's the point?
I mean,
You know?
the focus is never the actual heist themselves. There's a reason why you don't go in with them. And the only time they do build up a character is when Baby goes in.
Yeah.
Yes, but still, it seems like it's essentially they could have had any actor except for what the hell is the name of Baby's actor?
Ansel
Ansel
Elgort.
Elgort.
Yeah, they could have had anyone else except for Ansel Elgort, because and who's the girl that he likes? Fucking Deborah.
Lily
Yeah.
James.
Fucking Deborah.
Okay. We'll talk about the characters in a second, essentially. But because we'll talk about her in a second, sorry. But because he's there and he's kind of like, I know he's supposed to be slightly what does he have? Tinnitus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be a bit out of it. But it's like, Say again?
He's trying
I
to
think
correct
he's
you on the
saying tinnitus.
pronunciation.
Tinnitus.
It's
Yes.
American pronunciation, so it doesn't
Oh,
count.
sorry.
Mhm.
Okay. Sorry.
Aluminum.
you fucking bastard. You fucking bastard. Okay. God, no, okay. I lost my track of thought now. Go to
Oh, sorry.
Okay, Alec, Rob, you do what you need to do.
You were talking about Baby and Deborah.
Oh, yeah, their characters they're just so empty. I feel like I'm gonna have to mark down the acting like even lower than it already is. because everyone else, yeah, Jamie Foxx's character, John Hamm. I think John Hamm was great in this. Actually, I think I like John Hamm's It's Mad Men, but I think like his character was great. It's good, and it's like, you know, he built up his acting around it, you know. But everything else is like,
We're gonna have
Okay, so-
words, Simon.
Well, I'll
okay.
let,
When I get better signal, go on, Alec.
I'll let Rob go
Rob.
first because I'll remember what I'm talking about and he won't.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, like when you first started talking about it, Simon, my gut reaction was just to go like, no, that's not true, that's not the case. But then the more I think about it, the more I'm kind of siding with you, because I think it is kind of the case that like everyone just exists to play a part in Baby's story. Like nobody really has their own thing going on so much. And it kind of makes me think of one of my favourite moments in it actually is the final show off between him and John Hamm, when John Hamm shoots kind of either side of his head and fucks his hearing up, because it's like, man, that's one of those moments, like, because you've gone through this whole thing where like you're just learning more and more about how much he loves sound and he loves music and that kind of thing, and then that happens and you're like, oh shit, man, that's awful. But yeah, it's just another thing that somebody else does in service of Baby. Like, it's not really anything about John Hamm. So yeah, I think I do agree with you the more I think about it.
Wait, say that again. That you didn't agree with him messing up his hearing?
No. That's one of
did.
my favourite moments. But just now that Simon said what he said, and I'm kind of thinking about it more, it's like, yeah, everything that happens is in service of Baby. Like, nothing really happens in service of any other characters so much.
Yes, as in like the lack of character development of other characters is supposed to build up a main character. Yes, I understand that, but like just because Baby is by himself. I mean, he could have built up the other people around him a little bit more to give it more characteristics.
See, I'm not sure I'd like argue the substanceless kind of route here. I think like Baby purposefully doesn't talk a lot because he doesn't have a lot to say, but like I think like you do have there are sort of elements of his like performance where like you're getting information like just through like a facial expression change, like, and it's I don't know, I feel like it's like an understated kind of performance, but I wouldn't say that that like, there's no character in it, I guess. And it's not like a heist movie like Inception where the characters God, sorry. I'm so gassy. The characters sort of like function in the plot is sort of like their usefulness to the heist.
Yeah.
Whereas this, I don't think that's the case. I think like you do have people taking interest in Baby and going like, he's really young, he doesn't talk, he's always got the earphones in. He's on like every job, and it's like he's like this unknown element, and he's like weird to them, like all these criminals and stuff. And like I think even in that opening sort of bit when you're just introduced to them and he's watching the scene unfold in the bank, and you're kind of getting information, and they all get out of the bank, and then you see him, and he's just playing his music, and he's just going like, and he's just like singing along to it and stuff. But then he looks into the bank and he sees like I think it's like Buddy or something, like he like shoots someone, and you see him kind of double take, and he's like, huh? And then he just carries on singing, and I was like, oh, so he knows what's going on, he knows what's up. Like, but you had like that little shot to make you kind of doubt it for a second, so you could go, hey! And it's like, yeah, he knows what's up, he's doing what he's doing. And then you get that whole glorious sequence where he's doing the escape thing, and John Berthnell he goes that way, and then Baby reverses, and I love that shot. Like, but yeah, I think like you're possibly confusing a understated performance with a flat performance. So yeah, I wouldn't levy that here, I guess.
I mean, to be fair, I would say it is a flat performance by him, but because the character's so well written, I don't think it really detracts from it. But I definitely don't think that it lacks substance. Like even the moment Rob just mentioned with John Hamm, like where he shoots both sides of his ears and it's like in service of Baby and doesn't say anything about him. I'm like, well, no, it does. Like, you know, they set that character up to be unrelenting, and you know, he only had one thing he cared about in the world that got taken away from him. So knowing how much Baby loves music and how much it means to him, he was taking that away and then about to take away the only other thing he loved. Like, so I don't, while it's still in service of Baby's character, like, and it does circle around him, I don't think it is only for his benefit.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, me as well, I guess. It's just that I feel like they could have had more of that, I guess, because the character interactions with John Hamm and like it pretty much was just John Hamm essentially. Not even Jamie Foxx had much interaction with Baby's character, and it's like there could have been more character to character developments, but they weren't there. They kind of was lacking. Again,
I don't know.
I don't want to be horrible, Simon, but did you fall asleep during the movie?
Well, okay. He had it wasn't as exciting as it was.
I'm not convinced, man.
Yeah, that was definitely not convincing at all.
I was gonna say, like, sorry, I know Emmanuel's had his hand up for a little while, and so has Rob, so the thought's likely gone already. But like, that's kind of how you're getting information about Baby, is through their reactions. And Jamie Foxx is in his grill like quite a lot. Like,
yeah.
He is constantly giving him grief.
Oh,
and
sorry.
like John Hamm's quite friendly with him as like, and he's trying to get on his level and stuff.
Until John Hamm goes mental, Jamie Foxx's character is the like integral part of revealing stuff about Baby.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I
meant,
wouldn't say they
like,
didn't have any interaction.
I guess that's true. I feel like the interactions were. I meant like single character to character development. Everything else is like because of the group. Because Jamie Foxx is like, is this kid all right? Is why does he have? Was he even listening to the plan? That's kind of the like. It's like with the group, not like a single character to character development. Is what I'm saying.
I don't think you necessarily need to have single character to character moments, though, if the group moments serve the purpose that it would do anyway.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I guess that's true. But it's like it could have been a bit more like storytelling with like single actors with each other. But I guess that's just me watching other films and seeing like how characters talk with each other and seeing how they develop as characters. So I guess that's my opinion about it, I guess. So
Yeah, fair enough.
Rob, Emmanuel, what you guys want to say?
Go on, Emmanuel. You can up for ages.
That's all right. So
Sorry.
that's okay. Random, but I can't not think of this film. And then sorry. Every time this film comes up or like anything like this, I just think of Drive, and I'm just like, oh, I really like that film. I want to watch that film. Oh wait, we're not watching it. Anyway, I know they're very different films. Anyway,
this is exactly what you did with ET and Super 8.
Yes, I wanted to watch Super 8. I didn't want to watch ET. I think I prefer Super 8. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation.
Excuse me.
Anyway, sorry, back to what I was gonna say. The person I kind of missed having any kind of background to the character at all to kind of make the character kind of more substantial or more in the story was Deborah. There were certain things she was doing that maybe go, is this because she's had this past that we don't know anything about, or is it because she was just being used as a plot point? Because there's certain, don't get me wrong, many films do it and do like rushed romantic kind of things in films. Very common, nothing new. But this one felt very rushed. But because of her acting, which was good, I thought was pretty decent, was good, I couldn't tell if it was due to the character's past we weren't told about, if she had a certain kind of, like, she's gone through trauma and abuse, so she just latches on to like one of the first guys who show her interest, which there's very much people like that, or if she was just being used as a plot point so that the Kevin Spacey character, it could be like, oh, he's in love. All right, I'm gonna help you out, which still didn't kind of curl over for me, but whatever. Okay. Next, Rob.
Is your criticism then she doesn't have enough of a backstory for you?
Or that
Basically,
she doesn't have character, right?
That she has character, but backstory not enough. I don't know enough about her. With everyone else, we learn a bit about them, even if it's just a little bit. Like the couple, John Hamm and Monica, not too much, but we learn just a little bit. But it's enough. And everyone who's in the film for long enough, we learn enough about. I mean, I would have liked to learn a little bit more about Kevin Spacey's character, but we still learned a little bit about him. I mean, the kids stole his car, similar to one of the Robins stole part of Batman's car. What was it, Ben? Do you remember? One of the Robins stole part of Batman's car, or stole one of his vehicles.
Yeah, Jason Todd did, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, what did he do? What did he steal?
He stole the one of the wheels from the Batmobile, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, what the crap? But then he ended up taking him on as Robin, which is great. Anyway, I'm not saying that's a hint to this story, reference to this story, but I wouldn't be surprised. But it's with her, she shows up, sings a song, it's like cool, but at no point do we actually hear anything that kind of references her. I think there's one moment where she gets sad, and maybe it suggests that she can relate to him in like something he's going through in the laundromat. But then after that, don't really get to learn anything about her, and we see her quite a bit, and I kind of want to know a little bit, but
what if there's like nothing to learn necessarily? Like, show of hands, who's got a tragic backstory?
Oh, are we doing?
Oh, I knew
review
John had
back?
fucking put his hand up.
I think we all have in a way, to be honest. Like,
wait, say that again, Alex.
How much you talk about it? I said, show of hands, who's got a tragic backstory that you share with people?
Like, how tragic are we talking about? Like, I don't
I mean,
ice cream tragic.
No,
or
this
would
was
it
a
be
terrible
like
point to
more-
try and make, Alec.
yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't necessarily like bring it up that much. Maybe the point of her character is that she's a normal person and she doesn't really have a tragic backstory because, you know, not everyone's parents did die in a tragic car crash that left lasting trauma. Like, she's got a dead mum, but it's like, you know, about her past, she's quite young. Like, maybe not
sorry.
that much has happened to her. Like, maybe
I
she's a
don't-
normal
that
person.
like in Space Jam.
Hey Nick. Anyway, I don't mean tragic. I mean any kind of backstory. Like
We do get that though. We get enough of her backstory. Personally, I think like we don't know nothing about her. I think we know enough about her for this story. Like, yeah, there could always be more, but you could say that about most characters, to be honest. But I do agree with you about Kevin Spacey. I do think they could have gone a bit more in depth as his character. I don't think it was necessary as such, but I do think it probably would have benefited the character because, I mean, we'll get more into the specifics later, but he definitely had some choice decisions.
yeah. And it's not like we know nothing, but with her we barely know anything compared to everyone else. Like everyone else who's besides the Asian guy and the no-nose guy, we get to learn like something about them or quite a bit about them. But
I mean,
it's
we
like
do learn about her, don't we? Like Alex said, we learn about the mum. We learn that she's like, we know that she's sick of her job. She wants to get out of there. She likes singing. Like,
what did
you
she
learn
say
all
about the
main
mum?
points.
Because I can't remember. Sorry.
She says her
as far
mum died when she was young. She says something about her sister because she talks about the song Deborah, and she says like, "Oh, so the song's not even about me; it's about the sister." So she's beat me again. Yeah, obviously. And it's like, okay, so even in like just that, you can sense she has a bit of a complex about her sister. Like, sorry, John.
I do.
No,
think, oh, sorry, John.
Well, no, I wasn't saying anything else. No, Alec was saying sorry because we started speaking at the same time, but we were saying the same thing, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I do think you get quite a bit of her character, but I think maybe the decisions that she makes sort of suggests that she should have a bit more, because it's kind of like they meet, they've got something in common, and then she's willing to sort of follow him and without really questioning anything, even though there's things going on that you probably would question. So it's like she is kind of making quite an extreme choice just to go along with it, and it's kind of like, well, we know a bit about her, but what's leading her to act like this towards him?
Oh, she's
Yeah,
good.
I suppose no, sorry, I was going to say I suppose that's fair, but like it to me, I never questioned it because it just comes down to the fact that she's sick of her life and wants a change. She's found someone that she loves, and like, you know, like they probably feel like soulmates to each other. So it's the kind of thing of where you don't want to let that go. And she already knows his character well enough to know that he wouldn't be doing anything like bad on purpose as such. So she trusts him. I do get where you're coming from with that. Like that, maybe a little bit extra could have helped, but I don't think personally. I don't think it's necessary. I do think that you can vibe from it why she's doing what she's doing.
Yeah, I think if you don't have much family where you are and you don't really have that many connections and you all you have is this shit job in a diner. Yeah, there's like, why not?
But it's still quite an extreme decision to kind of like see him shoot somebody and then just kind of go along with it and be like, yeah, I'll wait for you to get out of jail.
It's America. Everyone shoots everybody.
I mean, to be fair, that shot was also in response to him threatening both of them with a gun, so I don't think that's that weird.
Well, I think it is when you're sort of going out of the diner to a massive police standoff. I think if you'd have had like a bit more to sort of like paint why she makes the decisions that she makes, you wouldn't question it so much. But I think at the moment it does feel a little bit like everything goes from A to Z very quickly.
I don't know. There are a couple interactions where I'm like, would that happen? I'm like, it's America. Yeah, probably would. And he's like, get out of the car. I've got a gun. And they're like, oh yeah, you shoot him with it? And they're like, yes, he did. And I'm like, you don't have any proof for that. And they're like, I'm not going to take the fucking chance. And I was like, yeah, they're in America.
That's a good example actually, because when she says like, yeah, no, he shot it like 15 minutes ago, I was kind of going like, you've been through this before. This isn't your first time seeing somebody shoot somebody and then holding someone up to steal their car.
I mean, it is America. No, to be honest, I just think she's like, again, I don't think it would have devalued it to add more backstory for her, but I do think she's good at crisis management. Like shit happens and she, the whole fight or flight thing, it goes like, okay, this is what we need to do. Like, and just carries on. She was still clearly like, oh, holy shit. She was like, yeah, he just fired it 5 minutes ago. Like, she's probably still in shock about the shot that happened and the fact that she was being threatened with a gun. So she's just like in sort of fight mode.
I guess I'm just in the camp of like, characters can be simple without being like one-dimensional, I guess.
Yeah,
like,
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I'm not saying she's one-dimensional or anything, but I don't think it would have hurt to have
that's okay.
a little something there just to say like, this is why she's going along with this so easily, and this is why she's so comfortable with everything and that kind of thing.
Because she loves him.
Yeah, idiot. Have you said the bit that you're meaning to say for the last like 20 minutes?
No. But what I want to say is completely changing the topic. So if Emmanuel's like vaguely on this topic, then let's go with that.
As long as you can keep remembering.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm going to say something in a minute, but Camilla, come on.
Okay, so maybe I wasn't paying proper attention, but hasn't they been on like 1 or 2 dates?
Yeah, but he took her to Bacchanalia. That's the best wine and dining experience.
So you've been on 2 dates. You're in love. Yeah, you hate your job, but I also hate my job. I'm not going to run off with someone who just like is in some massive crime gang and is just like killed a bunch of people and is on the run from everybody. Like, I feel like, agreeing with what Rob was saying, I hate my job and I'll run away with you. Guy I don't really know to guy I don't really know who's involved in some crazy stuff. I'm going to try and go on the run with you, and then I'm going to wait for 5 years for you to come out of jail, and I'll still be there.
I think the number of dates is like inferred as opposed to what they've shown, because he starts a new job and works long enough to get paid, because that's referenced.
Okay,
so I think they have more dates than we actually see. Like they're going out for longer.
They've been together for 6 weeks instead of like 2.
Also, hold on, the dates though. It's like first date, no tongue. Second date, tongue. Third date, you run away together on like a spree, and you get stopped by the police and stuff. There's a structure here.
And somewhere in between, you can forgive nearly being shot by his mate.
Yeah.
I mean, his mate is very attractive.
I mean, like, oh, sorry, Ben. Go on.
I was going to say, in response to Camilla's critique on that, like it doesn't in real life, that doesn't make sense, and no one will do that. But if I can understand Edgar Wright and how he's coming from making this film, it's kind of like wish fulfillment kind of fantasy. It's like a fantasy, an adult fairy tale in a sense, where everything is kind of like he wants to find the girl of his dreams. He finds her, and they run off together, and that's basically that trope to a T, with just a few like complications along the way, and that's kind of what he was going for. I think he would admit that it's just, oh yeah, this is stupid in real life, but in this instance, it's just my ideal like escapism film in a sense.
But that happens in real life.
I was just going to say the same thing. Like, it's dumb and it doesn't work out, but
I
Yeah,
mean,
true.
I knew her the grand total of a week before I told her that I loved her. That was fucking stupid.
Yeah,
But,
but you
like,
didn't go on like a crime spree with her.
you didn't go on a crime spree. I mean,
I mean, Alec doesn't know what he does when he's drunk.
if she'd asked, yeah, go for it.
But I mean,
like,
yeah, we all want that to happen, and
Yeah.
as you've proven, it can happen in real life. In this ridiculous, like 1 in a million chance, it's possible, and everyone ultimately would love that to happen, to find your perfect partner, and everything works out. And that's what's so good about the ending of this film, is that she does wait around, and
Absolutely.
the fact that he kind of like pays his dues. He doesn't like escape. Like the shit version of this film is if he escapes the police and doesn't go in jail, and he just drives off with her anyway. But the fact he still goes to jail, still goes in there for like 5 years, and still has to pay his like comeuppance, and his reward was that she still waited for him because she knew deep down he was a nice guy.
Yeah, and I think it's important. I think it's sorry, Rob, go on.
I was just going to say, I'm with you on that actually, Ben. I think you're right. Like a lot of like the film makes use of like dramatic contrivances. I don't think it's supposed to be a representation of real life. And this actually comes back to like we've gone so far around that what I was going to say that was off topic is now on topic again.
You carry on then, and I'll come back to what I was going to say.
So yeah, I think you're right, because like one of the points that I was going to make is that the opening is like it's very much from like the kind of structure that you always see in musicals, because it's kind of like showing you a version of the world which isn't quite real, and there's things that aren't quite right, but it's because it's serving kind of like, you know, a representation of the world that the film's trying to give you, rather than this is life how it is kind of thing. Like when you see Baby in his Subaru, and then he pulls up between like a red Volkswagen and another red car, and it's like, oh yeah, this is a world where these three cars can all look the same from a police helicopter, and it's like it's that kind of thing that musicals do, where it's like, okay, like you've come into this film and now this is our world and we can do things like this. So yeah, I'm with you on that then.
A point to relate to that, and also go back to what I wanted to finish off before we get into this point. I'm sorry, I wasn't finished. Camilla said something that reminded me. You know how like the idea of romanticizing your life to music, and that's what Baby does. That's what Miles does. He romanticizes his life to music, which is cool in itself. I actually like the concept that he actually tries to do that, even at the cost of them like leaving for 5 seconds. He's like, no, wait.
Yeah.
All right, cool, go. It's just like, but anyway, that's a great part of his character. To add on to what I was saying before, so I'm trying to remember. What happened with them as a couple does happen in real life in America. Also, I wasn't trying to take it too seriously because, again, it's an action comedy. And I know he does a lot of comedic stuff. So, yes, it wasn't so far comedic that I didn't think about real life. It was kind of a balance in the middle. But I think, kind of like what Rob said, I didn't have a problem with her necessarily doing it, like just running off with him, which obviously seemed... Yes, if it was me and someone was hiding their past or seemed like they didn't want to talk to me the whole time they was with me, and then suddenly I find out my suspicions are true, they are involved in some kind of stuff, but they got wrapped up into it. I know they didn't want to, they wanted to get away, and then just shoot someone in front of me. Yes, it's self-defense, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to help you out, help you get out of here, and then I'm going to stay here.
Run,
But-
Camilla.
She already ran to bed. But, but of course, we're all different people. And again, I don't think it's a like unrealistic choice because there are lots of people. If you even go on Reddit, the amount of people who sound like Deborah in this film, who would do the exact same thing, exists everywhere. It's just that when she did that, it made me interested to know why she did that. But I didn't really get that because you don't get that from just lost one of my parents when I was young. And I have competition with my sister. It kind of made me more interested. It's kind of like teasing something, but then not getting it. And that's why I felt with Deborah. I was like, oh, I'm interested to learn more. And then I was just like, oh, I don't get to learn more. I get to learn more about Baby, which is great, but I don't get to learn more about Deborah, who seems like a cool lady, but that's me.
I gotta say, I am. The more you've been saying it, the more I'm kind of warming to the idea of like just this little exchange where he's like, "Is this not a problem for you?" And she's like, "Oh, not my first rodeo."
Literally, even something like that would just put her up on this level. Like, man, she's been through stuff, and she's here for this guy. Cool. I'm here. I don't know. That's just a personal thing, but yeah.
I got you. Go on then, John.
Right, I'm gonna try and remember everything now. So, in response to Emmanuel's thing, for me, it's just probably an excitement thing because like you can see the excitement. Like even though she's scared, because one, you can see that she probably hasn't done stuff like this before because of how she's pouring that coffee. But you can see the excitement in her face at multiple times. Like her life's fucking boring as shit. She doesn't have anyone. She doesn't have anything. She's fallen in love with this guy, which, like we were saying, it does happen in real life. People fall in love and then they either they're obsessed with that person and that's all that matters to them, or it's just a kind of thing of like, well, no, this is what I want now. This is all I want now, and they'll just go with it. So, like for me, I think everything's there. I don't necessarily think that it wouldn't benefit from adding a little bit more about her. But I don't think it's necessary because I do think it is all there for her, like particularly the fact that she's clearly excited by all this stuff going on. And then I'm trying to remember what Rob said. What was your point, Rob?
About how it opens like a musical where it kind of introduces you to a heightened world rather than sort of being
before
in real
that.
life.
What led you into that?
Oh, it was
You
what
can't
Ben
remember,
was
we'll
saying.
move on.
It
Oh,
was what
yeah,
Ben was
something that
saying
Ben said.
about how it's like a sort of adult fairy tale kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, no, yeah. So I've basically covered that anyway. I was literally just going to say, like, it definitely is a fantastical thing, but it is stuff that, like, does and can and does happen in real life. It's just rare and, normally it won't work out the way it does here. But I 100% agree with Ben that it's nice that he actually does his time. And the fact of the matter is that he was given, what, 20? Was it 25 or was it 30?
No, it's 25.
25. He was given 25, but because of all the things that he'd done previously that came back because he's not a bad person, he got to come out in 5 years because she probably wouldn't have waited 25 years for him. Let's be honest. Like, that's a bit different to 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm surprised she waited 5. In my head, I imagined she got with some other guys in between and it didn't work out. And then he was coming out and she was just like, you know what?
No, I tell
I'm
you
not
what
with
happened.
anywhere. I'm gonna get this guy.
The moment she got in a car with him, she got the most massive lady boner for him, and they never got a chance to actually do anything. So she was like, "Man, like even if we break up after this, I just need to see it through."
The thing is, though, it's difficult to find a 25-year warranty on a dildo. So fair enough. So I got a manual with it. That's fine.
I mean, I was just like, I'm hoping that's just a joke about him being a shit actor.
Oh man.
Otherwise, I don't get it.
Oh.
Also, a question: which did Drive came out before this, right?
Yeah, it's like 6 years before.
Yeah.
I was really worried because I thought you were when you brought it up. I was like, please tell me he's not thinking of the film I'm thinking of. I was thinking of Crash.
Oh God.
Yeah.
No wonder you looked beside yourself.
I was just like, oh no.
I haven't watched that, so I
Okay,
don't.
doing this. Oh, Crash is a film about people getting off on car crashes and how they're a really sexual thing. And I was like, please, Emmanuel, you maybe watch some fucking awful things, but
No,
don't do this to me.
No,
That sounds
no.
like incredibly like one of the bad films on my bad film list. So
Oh.
I'll just put it there.
Is it actually a bad film on your bad film list?
Oh mate,
if
I
anyone
am getting
picks-
there soon.
If anyone picks Crash, specifically Simon, I know where you live. Don't do it.
Do you know?
Yeah, I
Oh,
dropped
man.
you off.
Yes, that's true. But the point is,
Yeah.
He
but the
knows
point
where
is,
your beef
like, I
fist
have
is.
lots of bad movies for my picks when I do them.
Oh god, that made me watch Crash again.
But yeah, no. But yeah, no. Drive, another film where he stays stoic and quite quiet the whole film. Where Miles, he starts off not saying really anything or much at all, and then he talks more and more as it gets through the film. So he's just someone, like I think John or someone else said, he talks when it's necessary. He doesn't really say anything if it's like it's not needed.
Yeah.
It's a bit different.
I mean,
I
he's
do
in
think
his
though,
own.
like, sorry, Simon.
Okay, I was gonna say he's just in his own music video world with the words that's just like passing by him as he's listening to his music, which I think is what Edgar Wright was planning for it to be like, because that's actually quite nice to see all the sort of words just like pass by him as he's doing the opening credit scenes to get that was it coffee, right?
Yeah,
And there's
that's
like,
a great scene where he's
that
just
is a-
going
that's
past
a
the
pretty sweet
graffiti
scene.
and you see the lyrics.
Oh.
Yeah,
That
that's
must
great.
have taken so fucking long to coordinate. Like, not even just Ansel Elgort, just like the camera guy as well. Like, you got to make sure you're looking at it at this specific timing to make sure it lines up with the song. Like, fuck me. Like, the amount of times I must have done that.
Oh, wait, John?
Sorry, it was mainly editing. It would have been because they could have done all the shots at like in a similar time and then edit it to the music afterwards. So they wouldn't have had to get the timing perfect.
Well, yeah, but you still have to do the movements with it. Like, that's still, even if you have to edit it, that's still quite a big amount of work. And then, I don't know, you look at like a Marvel film and they're like, oh, just CGI in the words later. And it's like, oh, fuck off. Like,
I mean, they with a lot of things, if they need to play the music, they'll just play it on set and then have them go, okay. So they get the feeling of it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You got
it's all one take as well. That's the thing. It's not like they're hiding it with an edit. It's one take.
Oh,
And
was
it's
it?
like,
and even if they are editing it, like they're hiding those cuts really, really well because it looks like one single take. But that's my point. You got to coordinate him, but you got to coordinate the camera guy as well. And it's like
you have to follow him all the way through, and he has to pass that point at the exact moment where that word hits that timing of the track. So it is one of my favorite scenes for that reason.
Yeah,
cool.
The amount of engineering that must have gone into that is crazy. John's got his hand up.
I remembered one of the other things I was going to say. It's not an important part of the movie, but I'm just curious what you guys think. Because it was something Ben said about him, wanting to live in that world where everything runs by music. I always took it to be like he has to, not that he wants to. Like, obviously, the tinnitus thing, he needs it to.
I just saw Emmanuel light up there.
He needs it to drown out the tinnitus, obviously, which is an actual has to thing. But with the him doing everything by the music, I feel like, like for example, at the end when he can't hear anymore, but his mum's music's playing, he puts his hand on the speaker to feel it, to feel the rhythm through him, and I feel like that just, to me at least, it shows how integral it is to who he is as a person. That he it's not so much a choice; it's just who he is.
Yeah,
I'm just curious what you guys
think. Because to be honest, the way that he kind of sets his life to music is kind of similar to things I do, to be honest, when I'm just sort of like walking down the road listening to stuff. I mean, I've
Hmm.
never been part of a bank heist or anything, but
That's
at
what
least
someone
not
who's
in
been part of a bank heist would say.
Yeah.
at least not in a public recording. But yeah, no, it's just like yeah, it's just kind of like a sort of, I don't know, like a heightening of that really. Like it's
Hmm.
yeah, sort of everything he does is around sort of how he sets everything to music. And I really love that moment with the speaker because it's a callback to Duck, isn't it?
It's called back to what?
To Duck when they're in the flat and he's playing a song and then Duck puts his hands
Oh,
on the speaker and
yeah.
he's like, "Oh, I approve."
I didn't even realise that.
That's not.
Yeah.
No, Duck.
Doc's Kevin Spacey.
Oh,
You're thinking of
what's
Joe.
his name?
We
Joe,
know we
yeah.
know who he's talking
That's a very
about.
different character.
Hey, when we're dealing with this many nonsenses in one film, we
I
got
was going to
to
say it's also a very different actor.
And Joe isn't either of them, and I've still done it.
What a fucking. Apparently, Joe's actually like deaf and stuff, but he was like coaching Ansel Gort into like making his sign language better. And I was like, that's kind of nice. Right.
That's cool.
That's
Probably
good.
the most he's
Yeah,
ever
I
acted.
really like
I mean, oh man, saying that, I don't know. I wasn't going to. You saying that it gives me. Sorry, I'm not a fan. It's because I feel strongly about it, but I'm trying not to come off too much of rude about it.
Be rude.
It kind of rubs me the wrong way when directors / producers haven't got like good vocal coaches or accent coaches or sign coaches, whatever it is, language courses, coaches on the project, on the set.
Yeah.
For the person, but to be honest, I don't know. It might just be he was taught it and he was teaching him how to become more native with it, with how he does it. So I'm not going to make that comment because now that I think about it, it could be many things. But anyway, what
I agree with you in general, though.
Yeah, because sometimes that happens and it's just like, but yeah, not about this film. But anyway, though actually, I think he came out with her accent once, but I didn't even notice that. Deborah, she went into a British accent once, and it came back
I'm
out.
normally like really hot on that stuff, but I didn't notice.
That's why she's so good.
Yeah, Camilla noticed when she was saying 4 Cokes, and then I didn't. I'm bad at that. And to be honest, I don't really care. But anyways, it's just a random one. What I was gonna say to what John was saying about the music, I didn't think about it too much, but basically, now that you say it, I feel it's a coping mechanism for him.
Yeah,
because of what happened and how like integral music was to connect him to his mom, just like Star-Lord. At the end of the day, that music brings him to his safe place, his comfort place. He was in a bad place, doing lots of stuff, and then he got wrapped up in this life of crime, pretty much, doing stuff he hates. He's against killing. He has he was at first, but anyway, he's against a lot of things that was happening around him. He didn't want to be involved, and the only way he could really get through it and feel, I guess, sane enough or kind of get through it was to go to that safe place, which is his music, which is that place that reminds him of his mom and just the comfort of all that. And that's what I think about it. No,
yeah, I 100% agree with you that it's a coping mechanism. Like, even for people who aren't like me, for example, I'm not like mega into music. I don't tend to listen to music on its own in my downtime. Like I try to sometimes, but I haven't done it for years. But sometimes I could be having like a really depressive time. Like it could have been weeks, months, whatever. And then I'll just sit down and listen to a song that I really like. And suddenly like you just feel a lot better. So even when it's not like a full-on coping mechanism in general, like, you know, even a quote unquote normal person like me can get that from it. So someone who's so heavily influenced by music, like, yeah, I get it. And that's a wrap. See you guys next week.
Woo.
Would you say that the music decides your mood, or the mood decides the music?
It depends.
Ooh,
It depends on your reason
that's
for listening to the music.
That's a big theme in a film that I'm planning to fixing.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, because it depends on your mood at the time. Your mood might be, I'm angry, I want to listen to music. So, you'll either put on angry music because that's decided what you want to listen to, or you'll put on calm music, which will then calm you down, which is then technically both. But or sometimes music just comes on the radio and you get amped up.
Yeah, but I can't imagine something. Sorry, Alec. Let's talk about Marvel. Imagine if Incredible Hulk was there, but suddenly you heard sunshine, honeycrisps, and rainbows too. Then after it wouldn't match thematically, I guess. But but obviously real life and movies are not the same, obviously. But could you just imagine?
I mean, yeah, he'd probably turn back into Bruce Banner.
Oh, you just get more angry and destroy the radio, right?
I mean, yeah, it depends if he likes the song, fine. If not, he'd shoot his new laser eye beam power out of his eyes.
I mean,
I feel like we need that as a soundbite for future calls. Just Simon saying, "I know real life isn't like the movies, but could you just imagine?"
That'll be tone down the volume a little bit, give it a slight echo, and that'll be the intro to every episode.
Oh man, that's part of my favorite scenes for this movie.
Yeah. Or the outro. It works either way.
I mean, even if you said the sunshine, which would be very comedic, that feels very Love and Thunder, to be frankly honest. That feels like something that he would do. But I do really,
doesn't it?
I might start incorporating that. Just I don't know, mate. It does sound a little bit, Love and Thunder, if you get me.
Love and Thunderish.
Oh, but anyway, what do you call it? I do really like it, and I can't remember the name of the technique. It's something similar to it's either juxtaposition or something else, but how you'll have something like classic music to a really gory and violent scene, and when they do it right, I love it because it's
You're just describing love exposure.
I do think that is juxtaposition. I think that is the correct
it
term.
sounds like it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it applies to that situation, so
I think so.
But yeah, John, you should watch it if you ever get time. You will love it.
I will.
You like it.
I still have it on my computer. I do plan on watching it. It's just it's a long movie.
Yeah.
And I don't want to quit again, so I'll take my time.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
You're gonna love it
Don't
as well.
apologise, shut up.
Specifically, you are gonna love it.
I fucking better.
You will. It's not a fucking
I love
debate.
it
You're gonna love it.
vicariously for you.
Is it a movie that you really have to prep yourself to get into watch it, or is it just
No.
It's
No,
4 hours
The
long.
least preparation is preferable.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the reason why I haven't watched it, Simon, is because it's 4 hours long.
Well, I mean,
It's less
okay,
of a 4-hour film, and it's more of a 4-hour experience, which Ben
that is
would
that's
ideally
a long
prefer
movie.
to be a
Okay, I won't
miniseries.
lie. But I feel like I haven't watched it either. I'm should I watch it? Should I
Yes.
really get amped up for it? Or should I
Yes.
just
Honestly,
Yes,
Watch it right now.
It's a
Four
great speech.
Four
in it
parts.
too.
In fact, get off the call right now. Start watching it.
honestly, man, I set
wait a
aside a
second.
night for it.
Oh, sorry.
I set aside a night for it because I was like, I want to watch this from start to end because we've never had a film this long, and I wanna do the endurance for it. I just want to sit down and watch it, and then 4 hours just flew by, and I was just sat there at the end, just like, man, I have been through a lot tonight.
Yeah, Simon, seriously. You will like it. You will like it as well. You will be laughing so much. It's very Japanese. That's all I'm going to say about it.
I was going to say, don't say anything further.
Okay. That sounds.
Ben was split it up into hour intervals, and I was like, nah. This it is 4 hours for a reason. This
I'm
this-
bad
I
at doing that with
split- I
any
split it
movie, to
up,
be fair.
but-
shit's impressive.
Okay.
All right.
There's
I
points
guess,
where you're going to start feeling delirious just because, like, it changes a lot. Like,
Oh man.
okay, let's go back to Baby Driver before this becomes love exposure to.
Oh, yeah.
So, in any
any
case,
favourite scenes?
yeah, those scenes.
Who wants to go first?
Well, I already said my one, so I guess I went first already.
What was
Mine's,
your one?
mine's the very opening.
Oh yeah, the coffee.
I love to. I don't know. I feel like I get like anxiety when I kind of like see scenes go wrong, and I'm like, oh fuck that! No, I went wrong. Oh bollocks! No, fucking just go on. It's rubbish. But like, so just seeing him just, oh, I don't know, just do all this brilliant stunt driving, and you get all like this information, like just given to you visually, and then you just get to see him just drive and everything, and they're throwing spikes down, and he's just doing this maneuver to like just move the spikes so that it gets them, and then it's like, oh my god, it's lovely. I love it. And like it had like a just even that little bit where he's driving and he sees the two red cars coming the other way, and I was like, convenience. And then I was like, it is, but at the same time, it's not, because he's had no problem evading the police at this point. This is just a very lucky thing that happens that he capitalizes on. This is a character trait. And I was like, this is all working for me. This is great. This is fan-fucking-tastic. I love watching him just drive. Like, it's really cool. That whole opening sequence is wonderful. Right down to John Bernthal going, go that way, and he reverses. Like, I just it's just that whole thing of like we're just timing things to the music, and he's doing like his windscreen wipers with the beat of it, and I was just, yeah, I have the biggest boner for that whole first sequence. That's my favorite scene.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you, Alec. So I was trying to think about it, and then I remembered a lot of stuff that annoyed me. But then my favorite scene, my favorite scene is the same as yours, to be honest. I think the whole that I like how like he doesn't say much. I like that parts of the film where he doesn't actually speak that much. But anyway.
Yeah, that's because he doesn't have to act.
Oh,
sweet.
Not for that reason, but
carry on.
And he just showcases his driving skill. He's not being. There's not things going on that's putting him off, that's causing him to make mistakes. He's just performing at his top ability, and he's doing it very well. What makes me laugh at the same time as well about the whole scene, everyone I think except John Hamm, it's just like, what the crap? Like maybe Monica's a bit calmer, but there's like they're all on the edge of the seats just going like, what is he doing? Why is he going this way? Why is he doing that? He's just like, yeah, it's like even when they're like, yeah, go, and then he goes backwards, it's just like, okay, yeah, he's got his own plan. But
yeah.
But yeah, I like that's my favorite sequence. Yeah.
Well, Pat's just unmuted himself with a bit of intent, so go on, Pat.
No, I just finished my game, so
now I'm ready to start the call.
I don't know, yeah, I'm ready to fucking play.
Well, since we're going down to favourite things, one of mine is probably when they're drawing up the plan and he's got his music in and Jamie Foxx is quite clearly getting agitated, and then Baby just sort of spurts out their whole sort of plan, and he's like, what the fuck? And
he can read lips.
And then my other favourite scene is sort of like the end sequence where him and John Hamm's character sort of
buddy.
Yeah.
You know
the one that I've renamed myself to.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Wait, what? I'm lost.
Pat's named himself Buddy, and he forgot the name of John Hamm's character, which is Buddy.
I'm trying to remember if we ever found out
I
his
forgot it was.
real name.
That whole sort of
Oh.
end sequence between Baby and Buddy
Jason's his real name.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on, Pat.
was fantastic.
Yeah, I can
Ben?
see you.
Hey, if you didn't hear that, that's your own fault for speaking over me.
I
Yeah,
can
I'll
see you.
continue talking.
I can see you loving that scene though. Just two cars just fucking having a go at each other around a car park. Like, yeah. And then
That was
explosions.
really well. Even the lighting, man, where they got like the red up lighting on John Hamm's face. He looked fucking evil. That was great.
That was clever.
I was actually quite impressed with that one as well because I was like, hang on a fucking minute. I'm taking a point off this for story because no fucking way he gets out of that car in time. And then I like watched it a couple more times and I was like,
Oh yeah, he
I'm
had
now
time.
I'm less sure about that actually because he
Yeah.
sees he's going and you get a little shot of him
Oh shit!
opening the door up and I'm like, he should see him. And I was like, no, they show you that there's a bunch of smoke in the way. It's obscuring
Yeah.
him. And I was like,
I felt
Son
like
of a
they had,
bitch.
have the point back,
yeah.
I suppose.
But we'll see.
Felt
You're
like
on short ice, thin ice. Fucking hell.
You're on short ice, fatty.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like they had set that up. So even though, yes, I had seen it before anyway, but I feel like when I first saw it as well, I expected that to happen. I was just like, oh, they had that happen, but left just enough gap and ambiguity so that, oh yeah, he's still gonna be up there and then gonna do something.
What's so perfect about that scene is that in a different movie, they would have done the exact same scene, except they wouldn't have shown you John Hamm having that moment where he gets out of the car, and then they would have just surprised you with him. Whereas here, they actually just immediately showed you he definitely got out and he's definitely still there.
Mm.
Yeah, that was the bit. I was like, you showed me the shot of the fucking door handle, so you know what you're doing, and that's fine.
Hmm.
It's like John said, in a lesser film, they wouldn't have shown that.
No, and then we'd
And I'd
just
have
be
been
like,
like-
surprise!
I'd have been
You're
like,
but
fuck
how?
off, no. Because I remember having that reaction in the cinema. I was like, fuck off, he didn't get out of there.
Yeah, I think as well. I guess it's depending on the angle the director wants to take it.
Yeah,
in
of course.
this film, I guess he wanted us to know, but the characters not to know.
Yeah.
Whereas in other films, they want to do it so that no one knows, but you expect it anyway.
But he gave
Yeah.
enough visual information to make it actually like plausible, not just some fucking random magic bullshit. And it was like, why can't baby see
Now
him
you
in his
mean-
periphery? And it's like
Yeah.
there's so much smoke coming off of the car
Yeah,
because he's just had to fucking push him off the back of it. And it's like, yeah, that explains that. Like,
Yeah, and I
Good
totally
job.
get what you're saying, Manny. Like because sometimes it's good to fool both the characters and the watcher, but it depends on what the intent is and what the story is and everything. Because sometimes, like, you still need to make it work. Because if they'd done that with this, but there was no smoke, they didn't show him getting out the car, there was no like slowdown or anything. It was just like he immediately went off, and then he appeared. You'd be like, okay, it was interesting that he was still alive, but it doesn't make sense. Like, how did that happen? And that's to steal from Alec. That's very contrived.
this is my kingdom. You can't take the contrivance away.
I mean, it is. Let's be honest.
contrivances.
Feel free, take.
take everyone. Contrive away. No,
I
wait,
have-
don't do that.
I do have a couple I'd like to share. But I know we're doing favorite scenes right now, so that's okay.
Well, funnily enough, I was going to suggest after we do favorite scenes, we should do least favorite scenes, which might come into what you want to talk about.
That's very thoughtful of you, John.
Night scenes.
That's not why. I was doing it,
Yeah.
it's just coincidental.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah.
Emmanuel's more on board than I am.
Who haven't we had?
He's
Uh,
the floaty nice guy. He's always like, hey.
Ben, Simon, and Rob. Is that right?
All right.
Yeah, I think
I'll
so.
do it. So,
Well, and me, but
favorite scenes is we know that his life is about music. We know that music is everything to him. So it's great that he actually can make his own music, which actually really is actually like in the end credits. It's really bopping. It's really great scenes just to listen to that shit. It's like, is he slow? Is he slow? Then no, he can drive fast. It's just like all that beats and that stuff. It's like, oh wow, that's amazing, because like it's like, because all those cassettes were like his journal, his diary, I guess, and it's just what he listens to and what he writes down just to like create for himself. So every time he like feels, again, if he's happy, sad, all that stuff, all that music is there that he made himself, and that's pretty awesome.
yeah, and then it makes him leaving it all behind that much more meaningful as well.
Yeah. Oh, but he still didn't get his mum's cassette. That's
Of course, but he has to. Yeah.
I even love just the visual of that, like just having all of those tapes in a briefcase. Like, it just looks really cool. It's a nice little character quirk that he's got. That.
Well, that's the thing. Like personally, anyway, I think cassette tapes look so much nicer, like in a display sense, like CDs and stuff.
Objection.
Apparently, I think CDs don't stack very well, and they're messing about. That's why. Yeah, I don't think CDs stack very well. Like DVDs and Blu-rays, I don't. It's not like I dislike how they look. I just think cassettes are the right kind of thickness and size, like to look really cool. I think the only thing comparable to it would be like probably like limited edition things that are a little bit thicker than usual.
Or would you not say that the thing that you got of the Ben got the vinyls? Those were.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, vinyls as well. I think they're really cool.
Okay, everyone's just running around. What's happening?
Yeah, why not? Ben, what's your favorite scene?
I did mention like how
that was so weird. Sorry,
I mentioned how great the beginning was in terms of the scene after the first heist, where Buddy's just buying the coffee, and the choreography of him just walking down the street with all the lyrics behind him of the song as he's playing is just like genius and just brilliantly executed. And another scene is how you mentioned the whole thing of him being found out with the tapes, and how Doc just gets is it Bats and Buddy to just like ransack his home and just grab the tapes and just throw them across the room and on the
I think they do that without him. I think they just go straight there and then come back to Doc.
Yeah, in either way, that scene was really interesting, because I thought like that's the sort of thing that would happen to me. I'd just do something stupid, like record like someone's voice and just make it like a random mixtape out of it, just completely innocent. And he gets caught out for it, and I think he's like a spy. He's trying to get us. He's ratting us out to the police and something, but that is not his intention at all. He's just doing it for the love of music, and music is his life, and he's just constantly thinking about, this is cool. I like this way he says this word, and I like how he says that, and I just want this to be a personal thing to me. And like obviously the Deborah tape, and especially his mum's tape, it just means a lot to hear their voices in such a way. And so I thought that was really quite a great scene for like telling how music is so important and sounds are so important to Baby's life. It was just perfect for me.
That's what's so great about it, though, because it's such a stupid thing to do that he should absolutely know better than to do, but it's also entirely believable for his character. Like they make that work perfectly.
He never considered it.
No, exactly. And going back to what you said of your favorite scene was, what I love about that is the contrast then later when they do basically the same scene again, but he's fucking pissed and depressed. And like the contrast between the two is.
So it kind of comes back to this whole thing of like people having more of a backstory, and it's like some people just fucking do shit, and like it's just stuff they enjoy, and you don't really need a backstory. And it's like, yeah, baby's got this thing with music, and he naturally wants to kind of remix stuff. Like as a result,
And
I
Deborah's
guess.
susceptible to going cross country with someone she doesn't know.
Just because you're not, you big
To be
fucking
fair,
move.
it's not even about baby there. It's she said that she wants to go off in a car she can't afford. He just happened to be the person with the car she can't afford. So she was like, whatever.
What a contrivance.
No, stop it. Yeah, shut up, Alec, about your fucking contrivances, cunt.
Actually, one question for
never mind.
everyone.
Oh no, Pat was gonna say something.
No, you continue.
No,
He was absolutely going to make a joke.
It's like finding a unicorn.
Oh
Let's
no,
do it.
Go Pat.
No, all I was going to say to Rob, did he feel the need to watch True Romance after watching this?
I did actually. That was the first thing I thought as soon as it ended.
Yeah.
Wait, why?
It's just a very similar thing. Like you could almost argue that True Romance, although it came out like 20 years before, is a sequel to this because it just fits so well after.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What, as in like those two characters?
Yeah.
Still
Yeah,
never
fair
seen
enough.
True Romance.
Ah,
Oh, it's
No,
a
Rob needs
brilliant
to pick it.
film. I do.
I think it's on
Oh,
three
cool.
people's lists.
Is it?
interesting.
Mine, yours, and Ben's, maybe?
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
it's one of
Right.
my favorite.
By
So-
law of averages, I should watch it soon.
Emmanuel,
I'll add it
you were going to say something, and then Rob's favorite.
Okay, I'll add it to my list to watch. But yeah, I was gonna ask, what do you think was, you don't mind me calling Miles? I keep going Miles.
No,
instead of-
no, it's his name.
Yeah.
So you're so accommodating of this. You're the only person who calls Rob Bob, but you're also like, baby, it's not your name. You're Miles.
I mean, look, he wants to recognize him as the person he is at the end of the movie, not who he is at the start.
But yeah, what do you think was Miles' kind of? I compare this to Superman, Clark Kent, to the point where he breaks his non-killing code, his aversion to not killing people, and like, yeah. What do you,
You
think
mean
was
what's the
point?
breaking point for him?
Yes.
Yeah, why would
And
he
it-
do it?
I
mean, it's Jamie
don't
Foxx.
know. I don't know where this not killing thing came from. I don't think he has a not killing thing necessarily. It's
Well,
just he
I
doesn't.
think he does.
He doesn't
Yeah.
like. He doesn't kill if he doesn't have to, and if he doesn't have to, he will generally do the nice thing, and it's like throwing the purse back to the lady and stuff like that. But if someone's causing him like fucking grief, yeah, if someone's threatening Deborah, yeah,
Okay,
he'll fucking
okay,
murk
well,
him.
Counterpoint to that, when
That's-
they get in the shootout and he does jack shit.
Yeah, I mean he's crap at it. But like,
But
I do think that's
Go on, Manny.
sorry, he pulls a Batman when Bats is trying to shoot the guy that can very real chance of messing up everything, including his chances of finally leaving this for good.
To be fair, in Alex's defense, I don't agree with Alex's point because I do think he does have a no killing thing. But in
no
defense
one
of
ever
that point-
does.
But no. In defense of his point there, you could argue that is the killing doesn't need to happen because I can get away from him thing. He has confidence in his driving, so he's like, well, no, this isn't necessary. But I do think he has a no killing rule because anytime even excess violence happens, he's clearly unhappy about it.
Yeah.
He's generally way too nice to like. Not that you can't be nice and a killer, but I think everything we know about Baby shows us that he's not a killer because even when, like, obviously he kills Jamie Foxx, but that's because he's pushed him way too far. He's fucked up everything, and he is clearly a mental fucking murderer. But John Hamm, a character that he'd gotten quite close with, that he could relate to a lot, is threatening both him, his girlfriend, and the rest of their life. But he only shoots him in the shoulder. He could have ended him right there.
Didn't he shoot his leg?
Dude.
No, he shot him in the shoulder. He shot his leg when he killed him.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay.
That's what I mean. I think he avoids it when he can, and he will go to lengths to not do it But as with like bats and that, he's like, man, you're not giving me a lot of fucking option here. Like, I'm gonna, because I think he only kills 2 people, and it's Bats and Buddy.
And
But
only one of them is directly.
fucking Bats, Buddy, and Baby, dickhead. Why do this?
I think it's the opposite though. I think it's not that he avoids killing when he doesn't have to. I think it's that the 2 times he kills is because he feels like he has to, not because he like quote unquote will do it, but he felt like he had no other choice, so he had to do it. So I think he does avoid, like he has an aversion to killing in general because he's not, as they said in the movie, he doesn't belong in that world. Like, because I think if he was fine with killing, he would absolutely have at least tried to get involved in that firefight during the gun exchange because his life was potentially at risk there as well. And if he didn't support the other 3 characters, even if he's a shit shot, if they were to die, he'd be next. Like he'd have no chance.
I forgot about that.
I think it only gets muddy with Deborah, but go on.
Yeah, like usual, I don't really side with either of you. I think it's like somewhere in the middle on this because it's like I think one of the things that the film does really well is it shows Baby as like quite a human character. And what I mean by that is that
It's not black and white.
he's not any one thing. Like he's shown as like he's a nice guy. He'll do the right thing if he can, but he's also susceptible to getting pissed off and making an error of judgment.
Yeah,
so I don't think they necessarily say like this is a guy who's against killing or this is a guy who'll only kill if he has to. I think it's that he's a nice guy, but he's flawed, and he's in a situation that causes his flaws to be a bit more to the surface.
I think that's fair.
That's kind of what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't think he has an express "I will never kill ever," but he will avoid it. He will like go out of his way to avoid it. He doesn't like it. But I don't think he's absolutely, I'm never going to do this.
Do you know what's absolutely perfect about this conversation is I was literally about to say, yeah, no, that's basically what I'm trying to say as well. So both me and you have argued what sounds like opposite points, but we're both trying to get to the same thing, which is pretty much every argument we have.
Me and Eb do this all the fucking time. She goes, we're arguing the same fucking point. We're just yelling at each other. And I'm like, oh yeah.
Like, fair enough. Like, I think, again, because I tend to accidentally take the contrasting like view. So, because I definitely said I think he does have a no killing rule, but I don't. I basically what Rob just said, that he, you know, he'll absolutely avoid it if he can. But just like probably most humans, if you're pushed too far, like you're going to protect yourself on the things you care about.
What's nice is we've both said the exact same thing. We've just said it in a way that sounds in opposision to each other, and Rob's gone, I'm in the middle of this, and we're like, no, we both agree with you. Yeah. So no, actually, we've all just been saying the exact same thing.
Stop doing it now. What are you doing?
It tearing this family apart by agreeing.
But yeah, in answer to your question, Manny, like, although I, you know, as we just said, there's not really like a point of him breaking it, but if you want to talk about his breaking point that reduced him to killing, you know, Bats threatened him, his girlfriend, his entire livelihood, and he's just a complete menace.
Yeah.
And you know, considering he saw what he did to that security guard, and that, you know, he didn't need to kill him. He was just like, no, I'm done with this guy. He's going to kill each and every one of us as well. Probably we're going to get killed because of him. And then obviously, you know, John Hamm, Buddy, is pretty obvious way he has to kill him.
Yeah.
I will say that. Okay. Oh, sorry, man.
Use the hands, guys. Use the hands.
You can go first.
I was just gonna say, like, that scene where he kills Bats, like, I was just like, man, because but the whole lead up to where it happens, I was like, man, he is really pissing me off. I just wish that Jamie Foxx would shut the fuck up, and then he just runs into that phone. And I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, it's timed so perfectly.
Oh man. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the song that was playing during that? Because I feel like there was a beat to him actually getting his head smashed in.
I mean, there would have been. There's a beat to everything in this movie.
Probably.
Yeah,
that's what's so great about it.
I can't remember what the hell the song was, and it's annoying me now. I've got to search it later.
Go watch it again.
I don't know. Maybe if I feel like it, I guess.
Just fast forward to that scene, and then
that's true. I could do it. Go on.
But one thing that kind of reminded me of, I found interesting to kind of think of. Again, this is not meant to be treated too seriously, but it's obviously not a complete comedy. I find it interesting that how do I say this? Basically, him reacting the way he does to like violence and killing and stuff, like in the few times it kind of it will distract him for long enough for him to make mistakes because it actually gets to him, or like it affects him mentally enough. The fact that it feels like he hasn't basically seen enough of that. He hasn't seen that much of that kind of stuff. So usually Kevin Spacey's plans, Doc's plans, tend to go to plan almost all the time. And the only time in the film stuff starts going to crap is because of Baby.
Because of bats?
No, well, because of bats, but
also, I see what you mean. No, I get what you mean. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. It also shows that he obviously never hired someone like Bats before, probably that crazy. But if Baby didn't do certain things, like if Baby didn't try and warn the lady, which of course he's a nice guy, so he's going to do that. But if he didn't try and do that, then she wouldn't have brought the person. Then he wouldn't have gotten killed. And it's like little things that because he's a nice guy, because he cares, he, instead of doing the kind of, I guess, smarter survival thing, which is just to, or selfish thing as well, I guess, which is just to look out for yourself, just kind of blend in, toe the role until you can basically get out of Dodge.
It's the Popo, get out of Dodge.
He's that nice and cares that much. He's going to try and do stuff at the expense of possible consequences he hasn't thought of yet.
Yeah, but then to iterate on that, like you're saying, it's because of Baby, but it's fully as a consequence of your actions thing. Because if Doc hadn't forced Baby to keep getting involved, which he was always going to do because he knows far too much, but the fact that he didn't just force him to get involved again, but he made him do more. If he hadn't sent him into that post office, he never would have met that lady. He would have had no interaction. And it would have carried on how we assume it's always been, that he's just the driver and he's not involved in any of that shit. Like the fact they made him go to the gun exchange was bad as well.
Yeah. Also, you just reminded me, and you probably just said, but I forgot the fact that there was that point where he was just like, well, do you want to do this?
Yeah.
He had the choice to be like, because Doc was just like, you know what? Nah, F this whole operation. You just effed everything up. And I completely got that. It's just like, dude, you get corrupt cops all the time. Like if he's playing stuff this well, just leave him be. But whatever. Bats have his own kind of beliefs, and I get that. But
if he'd said no there, he knows shit would have gone wrong for him. It did anyway, but
but the thing is, if he actually said no, Doc would have been like, yeah, if my good luck charm is saying no, I don't even feel it. I don't feel it's going right. He would have hired him for another job. He would have rescheduled things and tried to do it again and not had Bats in the picture.
Well, no, that's the problem. Him saying no would have been a problem, not with Doc, but with Bats. Like, Bats probably would have killed Baby. Like, there's no way that he would have just let that go. Because we already know that he, like, from later on in the movie, we already know that Bats is so interested in him and paranoid that he knows where he lives. Like, it would not have ended there if he tried to say no. I think Buddy and Darling probably would have just been like, whatever, we'll do another job at some point. But Bats would not have let that go. So,
see, I kind of think a different sort of thing, because I think Buddy and Darling are kind of desperate to do this job, because like they allow Bats to kind of tell the lie, and they're like, yep, no, that happened. I'm like, what was the reasoning for that? And I'm like, well, they say, well, when the nose bag is empty, we will darken your door again. And I was like, yeah, they're low on money. They need the money. So they're even willing to cooperate Bats' like false story, like because they need the money for it.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say they're desperate. I think it's more just like that they even though Bats is absolutely mental, and he's fucked a lot of this, it's not enough to dissuade them. Like they're still, I don't think they're desperate. I think it's more just like, well, we're not going to give this up because we are going to get loads of money, and also we want to kill this dickhead afterwards. So let's get this sorted.
They want to. I feel like their motivation is we're running low on funds, so we kind of need this. So like, whatever. But like, I don't. This was one of my big ones. I don't think Doc should carry on with the final operation, considering what's just
Absolutely not.
happened.
No, he shouldn't.
Because like, he's already lost one. Because JD's like dropped the shotgun earlier. That can be traced back. So Doc's already lost a route to get weapons through. So he's then gone, right, we're going to do this route now. And Bats has just fucked that up like single-handedly. And then it's like, right, so why even include him on this job then? And it's like, you're Doc. You just fucking have people killed. Like I wouldn't even entertain having Bats on this one. I'll be like, fuck you, you just done this. And then you have the whole thing of like, oh, baby's been recording all these conversations that we've been having. I'm just calling this one off, man. Like this ain't happening.
It's kind of a weird one because at some points Doc is portrayed as a really like smart, intelligent plan maker. He makes amazing plans. He thinks of all the kind of, not all the different contingencies, but he thinks of enough situations for plans to most of the time go really well. But then he's also portrayed as this guy as rough around the edges. Probably would have been better as didn't get much education. The streets were his education and the gangs, and he doesn't think all stuff through, and he sometimes brute forces things. But I don't know how to finish that. Sorry.
For me, like I completely agree with Alec for the first part of it. I think that he should have just been like, no, we ain't doing this. But at the same time, I do kind of get that he's lost a lot through this, and sorting out another job might not be possible for a very long time, like if at all. And he probably has things that he needs to sort out and whatever. But again, you'd think he would be smarter than that. Oh shit, I've completely forgotten what the second part you said was that I didn't agree with. So never mind.
You go on, Eric.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. My point was Bats has already fucked up a route to get weapons through, but then it's also Baby's been recording this stuff without your knowledge, and it's like I don't think he necessarily thinks that Baby's been doing this like maliciously, but it does kind of reflect badly on how other people, because people are already like mistrustful of Baby. So this now being an element in this group, I'd be like, you know what? I'm just gonna call it quits here. I'm just gonna fucking kill Bats because like he is unstable as fuck. I'm just gonna get fucking rid of him. I don't care. He's causing me no end of problems. But it's like now it's gonna go through that Baby's a fucking grass, and
That's
it's like
a good point.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say. You kind of addressed it there anyway. But I think that once he definitely realizes that Baby isn't like doing it to fucking grass him up or anything, he's just a fucking idiot kid who has some weird hobbies. So he just goes, oh, I mean, whatever, this is fine. If he tries to do anything, like I've got enough connections, like this doesn't matter. We checked it. It's clear, like it's not like I would be under the assumption that while he's been unconscious, they've literally listened to every single tape there. Because I don't think they would just play that one tape, him to go, yeah, no, it's just music, and then go, oh, all right then. Like, I feel like there's no way they would do that.
But it's the perception there, and it's like I need to just stop this right now. Like I might, like you said, like he probably has like he probably won't be able to do a job for a long time now because of all this. But it's like that is preferable to, like the film happens. Like, I just get rid of Bats and just cut my losses.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I completely agree with you there, and I would put it off. But I think it's one of those things where he's definitely someone who's used to getting what he wants when he wants. So, like, I feel like that comes into it as like a pride thing. It's like, no, you know what? My lucky charm. If he says so, we go. It's a dumb decision, but, you know.
And probably the worst scene in the movie for me as well. It's because when Baby goes, no, I'm your driver. I'm your baby driver. I'm going to drive this. I'm going to do this job. I was like,
yeah, me and Ned were watching this, and like, he does that whole thing, and I was like, that was not a rebuttal to what you were just accused of.
No, you get shot. You're going to get shot by the crazy gangster people. The movie would have ended there already.
He's like, baby, are you a grass? And he's like, no, I'm your driver. And it's like, oh, okay.
I didn't take
You
it
were
like
the
that.
driver before.
Yeah,
I took it like,
I
took it like they'd already established he wasn't.
It's definitely that scene.
Oh, I disagree there as well, but you know, we'll get there.
Oh, okay.
Who's left apart from me? Who's left to do their favorite scene?
I think I am now.
Oh yeah, I thought so, but I wasn't sure.
I think it is. I think it is you now.
Well, no, it's Rob and me because you did yours, didn't you, Simon?
Yeah.
Yeah, but before we move on, sorry, you and Manny have your hands up.
Oh no, I was just doing it to talk about least favorite scene. You know, that's I hated that particular scene. That's it. So Emmanuel, go.
You've been really efficient.
I was just gonna say I agree, and just to reiterate that point, I find it surprising, and I think I did it at the time, but I forgot about it. I find it surprising that he killed JD, but then he didn't kill Bats. When he then afterwards said, "You know how not only did he burn bridges, he had people after him because of that."
Oh,
I mean, he didn't know that. To be fair,
no, that's what he said.
Did he?
I swear, I'm trying to remember at what point did he say. He was like, now you're going to have both, now you guys, oh, sorry, he wasn't saying after himself at that point. He was saying, now you guys are going to have all the...
the whole city on us.
Yeah, the crooked cops, the crooked cops and the good cops, whatever, after you.
Yeah,
they were my cops. What the... And obviously, he's cost him a lot of money. And like you said before, with JD, he made one mistake. He caught him. Obviously, it was a bad mistake. He didn't want that linking back to him. But then this guy, he makes a really bad mistake. He didn't kill him. And I was just like, I could more believe he was trying to recoup his losses by still going on the job. But the fact that he didn't kill him, I was like, wait a minute.
My argument for that would be that despite being like a prideful, like, I'm the leader guy, he probably recognizes that he didn't give them enough information and he is partly at fault. Because if he'd told them that, you know, some of those guys there were cops in his pocket, that confusion wouldn't have been made. He knows Bats is fucking paranoid and mental. That was on him for not, you know, giving that information forward.
Yeah, it could have learnt the code word as well, you know, just
banana.
Yeah, damn it, I was gonna say it, but like, yeah, it's just him going over the crooked cops coming up at that elevator, going, "Hey, bananas!" and the shoots. It was a bit weird as well.
Equally, it's like, what happens if I piss off Bats? Oh, he kills me. Oh, I guess I'll just fucking murder him. That just stops being an element. Just someone just gonna fucking surprise kill me. I might just kill them. And then done.
To be fair, like after the first job, like I guess Baby doesn't tell him anything about Bats, and he probably doesn't give a shit about the intricacies as long as the job gets done. So maybe he doesn't realize quite how bad Bats is, but I feel like there should have been a point where he just went, "No, you know what? Not only do I not want him on another job, I think I'm gonna kill him to make sure this is never a problem again."
Yeah, I don't want him not having a problem with him after that first job, but after he kills all the cops, I'm like, this guy's a fucking concern. Like, get rid of him, like right now. He's
Yeah, I guess.
Oh,
it's
he'll
just
kill
you
me.
you needed a certain number of people for the job. They already had it all planned out.
I'm like,
If
what
if
does
they
bats
just-
bring you?
Violence.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, is that really that? You can find it. You say you can find a driver comparable to Baby in like the night, but you can't find a guy to shoot people. Like, fuck off, mate.
I mean, yeah, I guess to be fair, the driver part, like, I don't want to say it isn't as important because obviously it's important. I don't think he means he'll actually find someone as good as Baby, but like finding it someone who is a getaway driver compared to someone who'd be willing to shoot and kill, I think would be a lot easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess from my perspective, it's like with bats, it's like, right, I reckon, like, this is what I infer from it anyway. If Baby had said no, we ain't doing this job, I can imagine Doc just in that immediate second just turning and shooting bats in the head. Like, but because they decided to go forward with the job, he's like, no, I'll do it afterwards. Like, we'll wait till it's done.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rob, your favorite scene?
I mean, to be honest, like this is one of those films where I could probably make a case for most scenes.
Yeah.
And so I think we've spoken about a few that I might have picked anyway. So I might do something a bit different. And rather
pick
than
12.
a favourite scene, I'll do my most satisfying moment of the week. so
I took
it
a
goes
really
back to-
nice shit.
it goes back to what I was saying earlier about like, well, I said it when I was watching it as well, actually, about how like there's just like a series of Chekhov's guns, and it's one of them. So it's when him and Joe are in the apartment and they're flicking through channels, and Monsters Inc.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it.
I was kind of like, Monsters Inc. I wonder what that's going to like lead to. And then later on, when him and Doc are talking, and he like very sincerely quotes a line.
You little shit.
Like, just that moment. I was
Oh
like,
yeah, I
that's
forgot about that. Fuck. Oh yeah, that was.
Yeah, he's like, I knew it sounded familiar. You little shit.
Yeah, he was
that's
pissed.
nice. That's a nice way to kind of call back to that. But then before I could think, wait, why is Doc familiar with Monsters Inc? He says it's his nephew's favourite film, and I was like, oh, that's nice and neat. That's
Which
all
was the
very
entire
nice and
purpose
tied
of them
up.
introducing the nephew.
Yeah, I thought that was very nice. So yeah, I don't know, just like that's just an example of like one of the things that I really like about the film is just like all of those threads that go through it. Yeah.
You know what? It's funny is that Kevin Spacey does the voice of Hopper in A Bug's Life.
Oh, does he?
Oh,
So he's
no.
already done a Pixar.
Why did you have to say that?
Yeah,
I don't
I've
want a
ruined The
nonsense
Bug's
bug.
He does the voice of who?
The villain Hopper.
In
Yeah,
what
Bug's Life.
Oh, Bug's Life. Oh.
Get the wax out of your ears, Emmanuel.
Huh?
That was actually sincere as well, wasn't it?
I don't know what you said.
Right.
Oh shit.
Once Alex finished losing his shit, I'll tell you.
Could not have scripted that better. If I'd have scripted that, someone had gone, a bit obvious, isn't it?
Emmanuel, I said, get the wax out of your ears.
He looked up and went,
Oh.
And then you went, and I looked at you to be like, oh, he's joking. And then I saw your face and was like, no, that was serious.
Oh, God.
Okay.
I see. Okay.
Nice one.
But yeah, I'm in a similar boat to Rob. Like, there's so many scenes in this movie that I could put as my favorite. If I'm just gonna pick out one at random, I guess I'd probably pick because like there's so many moments in this movie that are obviously musically inclined. But I think the one that, like, I don't know, just for some reason I always remember it and I always think about it, and once it happens, I'm just like, yeah, is the moment just after Darling dies when Buddy's shooting to the music, like that. I don't know, for some reason that just really just gets me hyped up when I say it. Like it's done so well. But yeah, like there's just every scene in this movie pretty much, apart from my least favorite one, is one of the best. Yeah, it's great. I love it.
You mean when like the bullets are shooting and they're like the drum beats are going dum
Yeah.
dum dum. All right, yeah. That reminds me of, unfortunately, of the that thing from Suicide Squad with Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh no. No, not Suicide Squad.
You know, with the,
I don't know what you're talking
with
about.
how
That's
the
fine.
machine guns shoot down, and it matches very well with the song. Unfortunately, it's a very catchy trailer, but unfortunately,
Oh,
it's
are you,
for
are you
Suicide
talking?
Squad.
Are you talking about from the Suicide Squad?
No, he's talking about Suicide Squad, which is the first one, not the Suicide Squad, the one with John Cena in it.
Well, the
which
reason
the
why I
trailer
asked
was
is because
better than the film.
there's a moment in the trailer for the Suicide Squad that does something similar, so I had to make sure.
Oh, okay.
They do it
okay.
twice.
Oh, yeah. It's catchy, but unfortunately, it's the Suicide Squad or Suicide Squad. Both of them weren't they weren't the best.
Oh, hold
Suicide
on.
Squad is much better.
Wait, the reboot
Hold
was
on a minute.
better.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
let's not
Suicide
get
Squad
down
is
this rabbit
fucking
hole.
yards ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
That
give
was
you that.
actually
That's-
decent.
Okay. But
The first one was a.
with Will Smith, you know,
Hmm.
before he slapped people, was actually was a bit.
You could have known that you could have improved a film concept by putting Idris Elba in instead of Will Smith.
It's not just that. It was a train wreck. The film was a train wreck.
Fucking hell, man. Okay.
The second one was what it should have been.
Yeah.
That's what the Suicide Squad are. Don't get me wrong, I'm not the biggest fan of them, but I thought they did a decent job with this film. So I have nothing to say about this one.
Suicide
And that's
Squad did a
enough
really
said.
decent job with Baby Driver.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's
Suicide
enough
Squad.
said about Suicide Squad.
Yes.
Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
The second Suicide Squad wasn't interfered with as much by the studio. That's why it was a lot better than the first one.
That's fair.
Pat hates
Oh, yeah,
studios
yeah.
and Pat hates nonsense.
It is true. It is true. Well, for both counts.
Okay, so what is your least favorite scene? Mine being the baby talks back and ready to do his job, but it's a shit rebuttal. Anyways, what is your least favorite scene?
My least favorite scene is right at the end where Doc just, for no real reason other than that he says because of, I was in love once, randomly decides to help out Baby, and then not only like he decides to let him have a cassette, which I was like, okay, I mean, sure, whatever, like that's fine. But then he goes from wanting absolutely nothing to do with him to letting him have his cassette back to literally helping him with money and a car. Well, no, sorry, they already had the car. Money, telling him what to do, and then like 3 guys show up, bananas, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll protect this love," and then Buddy shows up and he's like, "Yeah, I'll protect them," and I'm like, "Dude, why do you care so much all of a sudden?" Like it just seemed out of character without any like. There was no setup for it, so it felt undeserved.
You mean character development, which I've been saying for a while now? I feel like that's a point.
There's plenty of character development throughout the entire movie. He was not someone who gets any.
Yeah, okay.
I wasn't. I feel like that's something that does seem out of place for people. Like I do think it's not like that well telegraphed or anything like that. Like so, I can see why people have issue with it. But I kind of do like the scene where
I like
like
the scene. I just
he says it like.
Yeah.
I sense he's like quite closed off like a lot of the time, and like it's only Baby he would disclose this to, and like I don't know, he's looking at Baby and he's like, "Oh fuck off," and then Deborah comes in and he's like, "Oh bollocks." It's like I can't do this. And again, I want the Deborah line where she goes like, "It's not my first rodeo." He's just like, "Oh fuck! Why did she have to come in here? You're both so stupid."
They are. Yeah.
Yeah, I quite like it. I don't know. It does come out of nowhere, but like I can believe from what I understand of Doc, that it would come out of nowhere.
I couldn't believe that was.
No, yeah, like
Well, fuck you.
Like, I don't think
It
we get
wasn't-
enough about Doc as a character to like believe that he would do that. But I will say that just in general belief, because he's pretty much been like a second father to Baby kind of for a long time. So it's vaguely believable that he can see Baby like coming out of his shell and being like actually doing shit for himself and wanting to live a life, and he's like, oh, for fuck's sake, like you say, like you can see the annoyance on his face, just like, oh, fuck off with your stupid love and fuck, like.
See, I kind of took it as just like him kind of accepting that like his time in that position was over, so he might as well help somebody else who's got a future kind of thing.
Yeah, but does he seem like someone who would help other people out?
That's the thing. I don't think it works unless it's specifically Baby.
Well, I think like because all of his motivation up to that point is like it's very self-motivated and like, oh, I need to do this job. You're gonna help me do this job. Like everyone in his life is just helping him. Whereas then he's kind of at a point where it's like, well, I've got nothing left. You have, so that's how I read it.
I mean, maybe, but I feel like he comes across as far too prideful when like I'm the leader, I'm in charge, to go, oh, it's in your hands now, I will help you. It's like it just be like, no, like his initial response is what I expect from him. Like, no, fuck you, this is all your fault. You're on your own. I don't know who you are. Like, same when he calls him, he's like, no, this number's dead. Fuck you.
Yeah, don't get me like John said, like you guys said already. In this whole scheme of things, it's believable, but we aren't given enough to kind of make it believable or make it or kind of when it happens go, I could see that happening. It's more like when it happens, it's like, wait, why did that happen? And if you're thinking that they've missed something, they didn't put enough in to make you go, that makes sense, or that's a natural choice, or I can see that. I
think there's enough for you to infer from.
Infer, but if you have to infer that much, I think it could have been better. I think it could have been improved. Like again, it was. Sorry.
Carry on. Sorry.
I don't know if you was gonna say this, but like I was saying, it's not unbelievable. It's just that if I had to think like that, then it could have been improved.
Yeah, that's basically how I feel about it. Like, although it's my least favorite scene, it's my least favorite scene in a film I love. Like, it doesn't break it for me. I just feel like they could have done it better. Like, kind of like what you guys were saying with, like, just have Deborah have a like one single line that makes you go, okay. Like, I feel like just a couple of extra seconds or another scene or something, just to set up a little something between them that makes you think they have more of a good relationship than they actually do, or that he actually cares about him, would have made it feel a little bit more justified. I don't hate it. Like, it's just it could have been better. I think it's the weakest part of the movie.
I just think you have this thing where like he was in love once, and why has he taken such a paternal role? And you go like, oh well, he was in love once, and you don't know the reason for it, but maybe he wasn't able to have like that relationship, like for whatever reason, like maybe the girl died, maybe she like a million things.
But that's
like he never got to have a son, and then that's why, like that's the concrete bit. He never got to have a son, so now he's kind of made that relationship with Baby, and that's why he's the only person he confides that in. And it's like, I think you've got stuff you can like infer from that. Obviously, it gets a little bit muddy when Kevin Spacey is the one saying, "I was just blinded by the balls on that kid," and I'm like, oh. Because that obviously throws a little bit of a wrench in. But I
don't know. I feel like you have to infer too much, and like I don't think he gives you any reason to believe that he ever wanted kids. Like he says, "Oh, I was in love once," but it's such a throwaway statement to me. Like
Yeah.
It comes so out of nowhere that I don't necessarily believe him. And he was just like, oh fuck it. Because he like, you say he takes a paternal role, but he doesn't really. Like I know I said like he's basically like his second dad, but that's only in terms of like how much they see each other, how much like he quote unquote does for him. But the fact of the matter is he watched him steal his car just so basically he could trap him for life.
Yeah.
But that's how he understands it, and he says, when he reels off the plan, like there's more to it than just I made a good fucking choice here. He's like, that's my baby, and he is like, I don't know, he kind of like tears up a little, like he's genuinely really fucking proud of him, and it's like it's not something he'd ever say, and he's established as someone who's like so careful with everything, and it's like the one little bit of his like code that he bends. He's like, I never use the same team, but you're the only constant, and it's like it's how that character kind of operates, and that's what makes me go, oh, I feel like there's a kind of a deeper connection with a fucking emotionally retarded man, but like it is still something. Like he still gives him concessions where he wouldn't usually, and it's like even in just like that action, he shows like he actually has a degree of affection for him, and it's like that's significant, and it's something you wouldn't necessarily pick up on that easy, but they are concessions nonetheless, and it's.
I guess the more I think about it, the more like I still think the scene could have been better, but when you think about like the scene with his nephew, and he's like, "Oh, I'll chip off the old block," like he's proud of his nephew for that. So like you can make the correlation between his nephew and baby both being proud of them both. So yeah, I get where you're coming from. I still think the scene could have been better, but no, that's fair.
I was just thinking of something like while you guys were talking. So
I'm
it's
tired.
something that it's something that maybe would have sort of like fixed this a bit, and also the issue that we were talking about earlier, where sort of Deborah does all this stuff without really having too much of a reason to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking perhaps like it would have made sense if Deborah knew Doc all along, and perhaps she was like part of, I don't know, maybe like blackmailing Baby into doing another job for him and that kind of thing. It kind of like there's bits that kind of hint towards it already, so you could have done
that
it
would have
quite
been some
easily, I
great
think.
writing.
But yeah, because then that wouldn't have come out of nowhere, and then you'd have also been able to look at Deborah and go like, oh, okay, so it's not just somebody that she's just met, like she's more aware of this person than we know, and she's also like more involved in his world than we know. So yeah, I think that would have made things a lot neater for me.
It would be better than her just typical, oh, she's just a simple Southern Belle sort of girl. I guess that would have been a lot more interesting. Yeah, that's true.
You don't make it too neat, because I was like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
I've tripped and fallen, and I've met someone who's involved with Doc, and it's like, oh.
But she wouldn't have tripped and fallen.
Didn't we see Deborah like at the coffee shop scene? Because like, wasn't she the girl that walked past when he was getting the coffee, and he got interested by her from then?
Yeah, but he's been going to that coffee place like. Well, actually, no. The coffee place is different to the place, but they literally say he's been going there for years, and she's worked there.
No, not the diner. I'm talking about.
No, I know what you mean, but like that, what we know that he knows her before that moment.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, I guess that's kind of true, right?
Yeah, I know what you mean. You're talking about when he's got the coffee and he sees her walking past, but there's no way he's been going there for years and hasn't ever seen her before.
That's true.
You need to watch it again, Simon.
Unless
she
moved in out of town, because she might have been coming away from a lot of stuff.
I don't think so. I think I don't think they ever explicitly say it, but I think basically from what she's saying, she's been working there at that job for a long time.
Oh, at the coffee shop.
No, the
Although,
diner.
the diner. Although I suppose, to be fair, there
No,
are
she was
there are
working.
hints.
She was working there 2 weeks.
Was it?
Yeah, that's why she didn't have her own name badge yet.
Oh
Because
yeah.
Jonathan left, which is
Oh
funny.
yeah, that's actually yeah.
Jonathan left, which left us a hiring space, and then she applied for the job and got the job. But the guy, obviously, who doesn't seem like a good boss, still hadn't got her own name badge yet.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Because I was just about to correct myself. I was going to say, actually, no, I think I'm wrong because I remember she asks the other waitress about Baby, so she has never seen him before, which means it's unlikely she's been there that long.
Conspiracy.
Plot twist.
But yeah, back to what Rob was saying. Like, I don't necessarily like the sound of that as a change, but it's something I would have to see in action to decide, I think.
I think there's like a lot of little bits that would perhaps be explained if something like that was to be part of it. Yeah, like specifically the things we were saying, but it's one of those things. Like, I mean, if you take it as, you know, she's then somebody who's involved in this world, so it's not so strange that she's quite so happy just to drop everything and join it. Her revealing herself and then Doc suddenly becoming soft also makes more sense because it's like, oh, it's not just Baby in this situation that he knows, it's, you know, rather than just like a random Deborah as well. Yeah, I think just like all of those little bits that we've drawn issue with aren't as big a issues if you do something like that.
I agree with the first part about you know, it wouldn't seem as weird that she just out of nowhere is fine. No, wait, was it the first part? No, I don't agree with that. Sorry. No. What I was going to say is, I feel like that takes away from their like special love kind of thing. Like, I know that's really cliche and whatever, but yeah, I think that takes away from it. It probably would have helped with the Doc part, but I also don't think it like. I don't think it fixes it. I think it helps, but I don't think it fixes it.
I mean, if it helps it enough, it pretty much is like, it gets away with it because you give it a pass if it helps enough.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think it does.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Okay. That's fair. It's a fair point. It's a fair point. If it doesn't help enough, it's just like it's the same shit. Anyways.
But again, I'd have to see it in motion, like, because I can picture it, but I'd have to see it as part of the whole context of the movie, like in order to like how it feels and how they would set it up so that you know vaguely about it beforehand.
But even like their first date where he takes her to the restaurant and Doc's there, and then he starts like using her as like a bit of a pawn.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
That's like that's tied up as well because if he knows about this relationship
was that
because
their
he's kind of
first
sent
date?
it.
I wasn't
Yeah,
there
I
like
think it was their
first
first.
date
No,
at the
that was their first
laundromat?
date. That doesn't count.
Okay.
Yeah, just like there's things like that. You wouldn't even have to change that because it's like now it explains why he's there at the same time. And yeah, just like you could quite easily thread it in with like very minimal change to anything else.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. So, Pat or Ben, I guess, what was your least favorite scene?
Was I not in the running?
No. Oh, well, I mean, you just come back. So
I don't have one.
I've lost my privileges.
Right.
Hey, you took that really seriously. You were like, I don't have one.
Okay,
I
Pat,
believe
what
it was
about if I
I who
was to
scored the
say
9.7.
if you think of all your favorite scenes, Pat, and then rank them, and then pick your favorite scene that comes last in the ranking list. That would be your least favorite scene. Anyway, Ben, what's your least favorite scene? You're muted, by the way, Ben.
This is by design.
No, I just can't think of because I think most of the scenes in the film have a point and a purpose, so that's why it's such a good film. And least favorite, I suppose.
I think you had one because I believe we spoke about it.
Oh right, yeah. I suppose the least favorite would be the one that had the most issue. Would be the lead up to the final fight Baby had with Buddy, which I felt was a bit too like, what's the word? I felt the problem with it was too busy and too kind of like it didn't belong into the film it's supposed to be in, if that makes sense. It was kind of like too over the top and a bit manic than it needed to be, because Buddy is this obviously you understand his reasoning for him to get Baby because he's so driven and so like he wants his revenge, and Baby just wants to get out, and they both have these two goals that are very opposite end of the spectrum, which is good. But I think the way Edgar Wright shot it was very kind of like not quite Fast and Furious level insanity, but it was on the verge of it being a bit too like extreme of like, let's just use our cars to kind of like destroy each other kind of thing. And I did feel like it wasn't more as clever as the rest of the film was, if that makes sense.
I think that's fair, because one of the thoughts I had was like, I do think they still set it up, but one of the thoughts I had was like, hang on, if Buddy can drive this well, like why like it seems weird that he can basically keep up with Baby and that like they're basically sort of on par. And yes, they set it up by like him being a motorhead and like having his car song and stuff like that. But it's like, I don't know, it does like you say, it does seem like it goes a little bit too far. Doesn't like personally, it doesn't bother me, but sorry,
it doesn't ruin the film because the climax still works brilliantly.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying.
How they kill Buddy is, yeah, it could have easily been in a Fast and Furious movie, in my opinion. Well, at least
one of the early ones. 4. Yeah. Not going into space.
No.
It's not launching yourself off a freeway so that you intercept your lady while she's falling through the air, and then you both land into a car, and you're both still fine.
I stopped with them like pulling a vault or a safe from multiple cars on the freeway.
Oh God!
All right, let's not get down this rabbit hole.
Okay, sorry.
We're gonna drag this fucking safe through Los Angeles. We're gonna just fucking kill everybody
Rob,
in our way.
And Emmanuel, I think, still have to have their least favorite scenes.
And then we're gonna say grace afterwards.
So Rob's gonna go first.
Because God moves in mysterious.
Rob, what is your least favorite scene in this movie?
I don't know, to be honest.
I know you don't need me to remind you this, but I'm going to say it anyway, just for anyone else. Don't forget, least favorite doesn't have to mean bad. Did someone clap that idea?
Oh, that was a fantastic noise.
No. That's not how that works. The least favorite doesn't mean bad. It usually does.
If I asked you what the worst scene in the movie is, that still doesn't necessarily mean bad, because like there's a difference between not liking something and disliking something.
Okay.
I'll
give you that only because I know that I'm going to make such a shit pick. A film that's so shit, everything's going to be bad. Then you're going to have to go, what is the most vilest piece of...
Yeah.
Okay, I will agree with you.
There's always a scene that's just like the worst.
It's like what I was... It's like what I just said to Pat. Like, if you don't want to think of it negatively, think of it positively, like all your favorite scenes, but which is the one you like the least out of those? Like, it's still not bad. It just means it's not as good as the rest of it.
I feel like this is a pointless exercise.
No.
Why?
Oh.
I mean, like, yeah. Don't worry about
good
me.
point.
Aren't being negative.
There's no point explaining. So move on.
Well, no, there is. If you have an opinion, tell us.
Aren't be negative about a film.
Buddy, talk to us.
Yeah,
Buddy.
buddy. Yeah, buddy.
Buddy's, buddy's the
I've
name
got
you gave
I've
yourself.
got my hands on my testicles right now. Does that make you feel better? No? All right. Rob, what's your least favourite scene in this movie?
Do you know what, I'm finding it hard to pick anything other than what you said, but I want to I want to think of something that's not
Yeah, I know what you
said.
mean. Yeah.
Do you know the scene that makes me feel the worst is when they're all in the diner.
Yeah.
And like it's kind of just I don't know.
So
I
tense,
really don't.
and it makes you feel sick.
I just don't like. I don't know. It just really makes me like almost cringe because it's just. I mean, it's a very well put together scene, and like it does exactly what it's supposed to do. I just really don't like the feeling that I'm left with after it. And then,
No, get you.
yeah, but no, in terms of like least favorite, I probably would say the same as what you said.
Cool. Emmanuel or Alec?
So, okay, cool. Thanks, Ollie. So, it'll have to be 2, and then I'll just complain about some other stuff, and then hand it off to Alec. But so the same scene you was talking about, John, is one of them.
Yes, I'm looking at you.
Shut up, Rachel.
But sorry, yeah, the same. So one of them is the same scene as you talked about, John. Just because I was just like, what? Okay, okay, and then the second one, which again believable, but with the whole, bless you, was the whole kind of I run off with you. And I remember Camilla just be like, "What the f are you doing?"
She looks at you and goes, "I wouldn't do that for you."
You just met. You barely know each other. Suddenly you just run off with some guy who killed, just shot someone in front of you. It's like, anyway.
It turns her on. That's it.
But yeah, those are my 2 like it's like most annoying scenes for me, and mainly because, as we already spoke about before, there just wasn't enough. I felt led up to it to kind of make that convincing. And besides little things like that, that I think we've all talked about already, most of the things I could that annoyed me about maybe how the film was put together or written, the characters themselves, like Miles annoyed me just as his character. I'm not saying it was written badly. I just didn't like his character, so he annoyed me. A lot of choices.
Fair enough.
I was like, it's believable that you're making these choices. It matches your character. Doesn't mean that I like them.
No, yeah, like it's like the typical thing of like, just because a character's a villain doesn't mean you have to dislike them, and just because a character's a hero doesn't mean you have to like them and their choices. You can still be like, look, you're well written, but I don't like you.
Yeah, I Camilla didn't like Deborah's voice.
She's so cute though.
Fucking excuse me.
Can't believe
that. Nah, that is too hot. No. I was laughing. But I didn't like a lot of Miles' choices. Didn't like Doc or his choices. There was just a lot of questionable. Doc made so many not so many, but towards the end, he made some questionable decisions. And the way the film goes, it's kind of like it's like a good trajectory. Like it represents how I was losing interest. So I started off the film like, yeah, I'm liking this. This is good. The more the film progressed, the less I liked it. There just were more and more things that annoyed me. As things were building up, getting to climax, and basically everything was unraveling. It was also unraveling in terms of my interest. I'm just like, this is just too annoying. Like, why is this happening? Like, why is it to this point?
No, I get that. Like, obviously, I don't agree, but I can see where you're coming from with it. Like, same as anything with films. It's all, sorry, Alec, but it's all subjective. So like, just because it's well written and the characters, because I guess one criticism for this movie could be that there isn't a lot of character development in this movie. It's most of the characters are already, well, no, because I don't think it's a problem because of what I'm about to say. There's not a huge amount of character development for all the characters in this movie because most of them are already fully formed characters. It's more just about finding out about each of them so that you know who they are, rather than, Baby obviously has development, but most of the others are already who they are. You just find out about them.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to agree with that. And yeah, it's not, but still not the best way to tell the story, though.
I think it works for this movie, but I understand where you're coming from. Yeah, like if it was a different movie, a different director, it might not have worked. But for me personally, it does for this.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, just me personally. I don't know what else to say. It's just a lot of little things. Like, okay, but at the same time, I get why the film ended up the way it did with Edgar Wright doing it. It makes sense that this is his style. This is him. Like, I can see how this came from him, and the comedic side to it, because a lot of things that I might want. Oh, sorry. A lot of things that I might maybe want might not necessarily fit into this style. They could still do it, but it would be a slightly different film, I guess.
Yeah.
At the same time, you could still have pretty much the same film, just improved. And at the end of the day, I get what you said about the end as well. The end was crazy, but I think I wasn't even thinking about how kind of crazy the end was, because at that point I was already just like, really? when he was just like, yeah, I'm gonna protect you with my life, basically. I was like, dude, no, you not. Who are you kidding? This whole film. Nah, dude, stop lying. Oh wait, you dead. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm done. I don't know what to say.
This always tends to be the thing when you dislike a film, though. There's loads and loads of little things that just spiral into the third act of you just going like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. there are things that, like, if you like it, you're just like, yeah, or like you let it go. But the moment you start disliking it, every one of those small things, it's basically like with Ragnarok. Like, I imagine if Korg had been in a different movie, I would have loved him. But because it was in like, or even if Ragnarok was the first Thor movie, I probably would have loved it. But because I already had expectations and everything, I was just like, no, fuck this. But you reminded me of something, actually. One thing I dislike about this movie is, I know they kind of set it up with Baby having like that swing thing in the kitchen, but he just goes from being this like dweeby dude who listens to music and can drive to a fucking parkour master. And I'm just like, hang on, where's all this come from? Like, it's like, it doesn't break it for me, but I was just like, okay.
Well, I think it's there to show that he does exercise outside of it. Like, his job is to be a driver, and having that little arm bar. It's not an arm bar. What the fuck is it called? It's a pull-up bar.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking fat. Having a pull-up bar there shows that he does have like a mode of exercise even when he's not driving.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I said, it's definitely there to set it up, but kind of like with the stuff with Doc at the end, I don't feel like it's enough, because like doing pull-ups and a bit of exercise is different to being able to fucking like parkour your way around the streets to escape the police.
I mean, maybe because he did it a lot, because he did steal a lot of cars when he was younger. I guess, well, as you
That's
see,
fair. That's a fair point.
In all fairness, I've been lifting wardrobes for the last 2 years of my life, and I nearly got a bicep once. I haven't done that for 2 months, and now I'm like dangerously close to dying of too much fat in my body. So doing stuff when you're younger doesn't really impinge. But yeah, I think having the pull-up bar is a good little thing of just saying he's got a mode of exercise, because I'll speak for everybody here. Doing a pull-up's really fucking hard.
Yeah.
Oh, the most athletic person agreed with me. So there's a scale here now.
I mean, I've done pull-ups. They're not that bad.
I mean, when you're built like a walrus, it's pretty hard.
Yeah, that's fair. But he's not.
No, he's not. That's the thing. He's not built up like a walrus, and he said
Because
it's hard
he does
too. Yeah, he said it was hard as well. So
No, I guess it's just. Sorry, go on, Manny.
Sorry, I was cutting you off.
No, go on.
What I would say, or add to this, is not that I was surprised he could do some parkour stuff. I can do parkour, but maybe, I mean, you guys probably know me from school, so that wouldn't be surprising. But what I was surprised about when I had watched that, and I forgot this, was that he wasn't running to another car to hotwire it to go. He was just running to be running. And I was like, you're a driver. Why aren't you running to another? I was just kind of surprised. Not that he could run, but yeah, I was kind of expecting him, but maybe that was me putting my expectations on the character. But I thought he was literally going to run to another kind of maybe around the corner, run to another car, jump in, hotwire, whatever, and kind of go off. Not that would have maybe worked anyway, but.
So you want to say, why aren't you driving, baby driver? Is what you wanted to say. Is what you wanted to say, yeah?
Come on in, baby driver.
It's more that I was just surprised there was a chase scene on foot when this whole film's about him being a great driver. I was just kind of surprised it was written in. I was like, well, it's cool. I'm just like, why aren't you already?
I like that though. He's not in his element, and he's still being a slippery little shit. I think that's a neat little.
Also, sorry. I think hot wiring a car takes time. That's why he had to find a slightly older car with that he can do with the screwdriver. That's probably why. Because if he's trying to go, they're taking fucking ages.
Well, I'm gonna use this as a segue to combat this whole not all of it's subjective thing. Because originally when I was no one asked, I'm gonna do my least favorite scene now.
You have asked. Don't do that.
Oh yeah, I was anyway earlier. It's your turn.
That's okay. It's my turn. It's my turn, motherfuckers. Because when I was watching these, because what I tend to do with these is I will go is that a convenience? And I'll go I'll just ask myself fucking stupid questions and see if it is actually one. Sort of like with the cars coming toward him, and I'm like, is that a convenience? And I'll go, well, no, not really, because he evades these police cars very easily. So having two cars come the other way, fuck me, Rob, you're just trying to distract me, ain't you? I try my absolute best to not fucking distract you, and then you're like, I'm gonna put on the fucking 3D glasses. Fuck you, prick. I'm like, is this a convenience? And I'm like, no, he can evade the police as much as he wants. This is just something he capitalizes on. And it's sort of like with the screwdriver. And I went, is this a convenience that there's a screwdriver here? And I'm like, no, he's going through a TV shop. The TV shop obviously has people who can operate on TVs. There is a screwdriver. There's got to be, because you need to fucking get the control panel off. So yeah, there's a screwdriver here. Like that's just something. And he.
Wait, what was this scene? Screwdriver.
When he's
so
running away.
when he's running away, he runs through the shopping mall and he goes through the TV center and he's like, oh, and he grabs a screwdriver because he's going to use it later. He's going to use it to break open a window.
Oh yeah.
then he's gonna-
That was fine. Yeah.
And then he's going to use it to hotwire something else. And I was like, oh, if he doesn't get the screwdriver, that's a problem, isn't it? And I was like, yeah, but he's going through a TV shop. You know where they're going to have a screwdriver? A TV shop, because they
Well,
need
I
to
guess
get
the
into
problem
a
is
control
it-
panel.
If he had a flathead or a Phillips, that would have been the problem, right?
That would have been a problem, but I don't know fuck all about screwdrivers, so that was fine for me.
Okay.
I'm working off the information I have. But yeah, that's
The
my.
more I think about it, the less I have problem with the parkour type scene. But compared to the rest of the film, but it was nice to be in there, to be honest. So.
Yeah, it's stuff like, because just kind of building off Ben's least favorite bit. My least favorite bit here is during that sequence, Baby gets an edge over Buddy by having Deborah act as bait. Because there's a bit where Buddy's chasing him, and then he stops
I
what he's
didn't like that.
doing, and he looks over at Deborah, and Deborah's standing there, and she's like, "Please do the thing now." And I was like, "I'm reasonably 80% sure you didn't come up with this. I feel like Baby came up with this." And I was like, "That is incongruent with what I understand Baby to be."
See, I think the opposite. I don't believe Baby would do it. I think she probably did it.
But I was sort of like, she's
Bro,
kind
what
of
the fuck
a.
are you doing? Sorry, I got really distracted.
Rob, if I'm boring you, I'm really sorry.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I just got distracted. It's not your fault, Alec.
No, it's
I was-
okay. I don't want to like, you know,
Fantastic Mr.
bore you or anything.
I didn't realize that this was a preview for anyone but me. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I got really surprised by the
Fantastic,
box.
Mr. Fox.
I can stop if you want.
Alec, please continue. I was actually listening very intently about it.
Oh, thank you, Simon. That's really nice.
Someone was.
Okay.
Carry on.
Please continue, please.
Oh, I'd like to. It's just obliterated my train of thought. Fuck. What was I? What was I fucking
We
saying?
were talking about when he used her as bait.
Yeah.
Deborah.
I'm just like that. Deborah's the only reason that he seems to have, like, as a reason to kill somebody. So I'm like, the last thing he's going to do is put her in danger. He will not willingly put her in danger. So, and like, that's where I was going. We see her kind of like her hand shaking when she's pouring Buddy's coffee. She's clearly not used to this kind of situation. So I really doubt she has like kind of the mental power to go, here's what I'm going to do, baby. I'm going to stand over there. So then he's going to distract me and then you fucking T-bone him. I don't think she has access to that level of thought.
Well,
So I'm
she
like-
just shot a guy 5 minutes ago. I think.
Yeah, but I'm like,
it's
she doesn't have access to that. She's not strategizing this shit.
Okay,
So I'm
true,
like,
okay.
Baby strategizing this shit. And I'm like, I do not believe for a fucking second Baby strategizing this. He would not put Deborah in fucking danger. And he's like, no. You stand over there, I'll T-bone him. And it's like, I don't fucking care how fast you are in a car. You are not faster than a bullet. All Buddy's got to do is go, yep, done. You can't drive faster than that. That's bollocks. Like, sorry. So the idea that he came up with that as an idea is crap. I hate it. And it's like, that is what gives him an edge against Buddy. The idea that he was just willing to bait Deborah. And she's like, she's not used to this. Like, we see that in her reaction to Buddy holding her at gunpoint. She's not used to it, so she is not making this decision. It is Baby doing this decision, and that is incongruent to what we have seen him be established to be. So that was my least favorite scene. I was like, you've kind of character assassinated him by doing this. And it's like, it's clever, but it is clever in like a logical way that I don't think Baby has access to. Like, just in his head. I don't believe he thinks this way. They'd be willing to put his lady in danger for.
Like, I guess the way I took it was that I feel like, you know, heat of the moment stuff, adrenaline's running. I feel like it might have just been a thing of where she was like, just do this, or he just went with it. To be honest, to me, I get where you're coming from. I don't think it necessarily matters who came up with it because, well, yes, he definitely can't drive faster than a bullet. I feel like he knows enough about Buddy and what Buddy wants. And the fact that, you know, Buddy still wants to survive after this regardless, that, you know, if a car's driving at him to knock him off, he's not going to take a pot shot and then risk actually dying immediately. Like, it's still, I will agree with you, because I didn't like that scene particularly well either. It's weird that she's used as bait. Like, that, I don't have no contention on that. But I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for, like, consistency with the characters and what they would have decided was best.
I just can't see anyone making that decision. Just, we're being chased and I go, Eb, stand over there.
I think you're thinking of it too logically in terms of like as in how they would be thinking, because these are all split second choices. Like, they're running for their life. They need to get rid of him or they're dead. Like, I think regardless of who came up with the idea or how it got decided, whatever, it would have been very immediately like, do this or I'll do this. Okay, go. Like, there's not time to go, no, that's a terrible idea, or no, I won't put you in danger. It's just like, yeah, okay, we'll go.
Because, see, in a split second, I'm like, Eb, you're getting behind me. Like, I don't...
Okay, then what happens?
Then I'll work it out, but the idea...
to work it out.
But the idea is like, she's not putting herself in danger and I'm not putting her in danger. I'm putting myself in danger, and that's preferable. Not... But Buddy's got a fucking handgun, and it's like, all Buddy has to do is bang, and
right, but
then that's over. But I mean, he's kind of like, you know, he was about to kill her anyway in the
no, he
calf.
wants to kill her, but he's not going to do it at the risk of him also dying. Like, it's also like, you're obviously, generally speaking, your priority is always going to be the safety of the person you love. But in those moments, those fight or flight, you know, we might die moments, the priority is, we need to get out of here alive. We need, like, in this instance, we need to kill him. So, like, I don't think it's that outside of the realm of possibilities that they would have just gone with it. And, like, it definitely is a contrivance. I'm not going to argue with you on that, but I don't think it breaks it.
So I find the idea that he willingly put her in danger. I think that is character assassination of Baby.
I wouldn't even call it willful. I don't think there's enough time to make proper, like, willful, conscious decisions. Again, like, I think it's just like this is what's happening. Okay, like, we're done. Sure. Like, it's like not necessarily even words spoken. Just like, I'm going to do this, and he just gets in the car and, like, they go with it.
Yeah, I don't believe she came up with that. Like, that just because she's so out of her element in being held at gunpoint, I don't believe she went, what I'm gonna do, baby, I'm gonna run and he's gonna go for me, and then you go for him. I just don't see her doing that. Like, even if you take all the logic out of it, like, you can't T-bone him faster than he can shoot me. Like, I just can't. I can't see her taking that level of assertiveness. Sorry, Emmanuel.
I just wanted to offer an alternative point.
No, denied. Oh, no, Karen.
I was a little surprised. Of course, at this point, I wasn't thinking about it much, as like what I said earlier. But this kids, it's the same kids who has made lots of dumb choices up before this point. I am not surprised in the heat of the moment, like John said, he made another dumb decision that could have ended in her ending up dead. To me, that wasn't against the character. That was just him being his dumb self. Like, he makes dumb decisions. He's not good at this stuff.
Dumb is not a binary. It's not like I'm gonna make a dumb and a smart. Like,
he made so many situations with decisions without thinking about the consequences. People have gotten killed because of his foolish choices or decisions to do things. He's not like the smartest guy. He's good at driving and parkour, and that he's not good at the other stuff.
Don't agree in these being equated, because the things you're citing are he signals at the bank teller to not go in, so she gets a security guard, and it's like, yeah, that wasn't like the smartest thing to do.
I'm your driver.
But he understands that John Hamm will just fucking kill her if he gets the chance to.
No, he understands that John wants to kill her in a way, like in front of him, and like to make sure that he suffers because of it. So,
yeah, okay. Yeah.
And also, again, he's going to be protecting his own life still. So when faced with, I can shoot her or I can move, like try and get out of the way of myself dying, your self-preservation would take priority. But also, you know, at the end of the day, remember, these are human characters. Like, just because something's a dumb choice or something doesn't necessarily make sense doesn't mean they wouldn't have made that choice.
No, it's okay. I'm not looking for necessarily completely machine-like logical sense, but we've seen already. He kind of wanted Baby to be in the diner when he was going to shoot her.
Yeah,
but equally, he's kind of running out of options in the scene that I'm talking about, and it's like, at this point, you were in the car park. We were already fighting each other. Whether I kill her in front of you, or if you find out that I killed her 3 seconds later, that's still kind of the same. That's still kind of the same effect, whether you saw her die or not. So I'm kind of like, all you want out of this is you killed her, and you ain't got a fucking girlfriend.
I think he proves that's not true in a later thing.
Yeah, he has to make Baby suffer. That's what makes him such a madman. Sorry.
But can you not make Baby suffer by going, I've just killed your girlfriend and it's just happened.
No, he has to watch.
And you can't do anything about it, and now I'm going to deafen you.
No, because he literally, when he actually has him in his grasp after all this, where he's almost died several times, and he knows the police are onto him, that he might end up dead himself, he still takes the time to shoot either side of his ears and then tell him he's going to kill her.
Yeah.
Like, that's a conscious choice he makes.
When
he could have easily just shot both of them there and then.
Baby, like, in the chest.
When he sees Deborah standing there, he goes for the handgun.
Yeah, because it doesn't mean he was going to kill her. He can shoot her. Doesn't mean he was going to kill her.
But equally, putting Deborah in that position where she could get shot.
Yeah, it's done.
It's non-fatally or not. I don't believe Baby's making that decision to put her in that position.
I don't believe anyone in that position has enough presence of mind to 100% be accurate to their general normal character.
But this is Baby specifically, who, instead of letting Bat shoot someone, will put enough trust in his driving.
Yeah, and so if you're going to go with that route, he put enough trust in his driving that he would be able to protect Deborah because he was in a car.
But he can't protect Deborah if she's not in the car.
But he was in the car.
No.
If she's not in the
whether
car.
Deborah was in the car or not, because he's still like, if you're going with that argument, I think that then you could just say, well, he's in a car, so that's his power mode. Like that's when he's the most confident.
Yeah, but if you're going with that argument, then he's not. He knows that a car's not faster than a bullet. So John
he
Hamm
also knows that John Hamm wants him to suffer, and like,
Yeah.
again.
So whether
These are levels of thought that wouldn't have been reached because there was not enough time to get there. It was
Yeah.
again just we're trying to do our best to survive and kill him. That's it.
But whether John Hamm wants to kill her with the bullet or cripple her with the bullet, that's something that Baby's going to want to avoid. So he's not going to put her in a position to do that.
But again, there wasn't enough time to have these kinds of like cohesive thoughts to make sure that everything that you normally want to happen will happen. He knows that if he hesitates in these moments, they're both dead. End of story. Which, by proxy, is protecting her.
Yeah. But he can equally do a similar thing without putting Deborah in danger.
But he didn't
like
think of a similar
as
thing.
much danger as that.
So, okay, so to break it down simply for the audience is that he had to make sure that his driving as a Baby driver was better than John Hamm's shooting, but he
I mean,
wasn't
no.
100% sure, right?
I would say that was never a question in his mind. Like
Okay,
about
okay.
I love you, Simon.
Because you guys are going in circles for a little bit, right? So, but I had to stop that. So, how about in conclusion? Because this has gone on for about I don't know how fucking long now. Jesus Christ. Okay, so in conclusion, same statement. You've changed my mind slightly a bit about it. That it is a very well produced, well made film. Has the characters lack a little bit, but they do have their own points in the plot to give it justification most of the time. That's how I will end it with how I feel about that film. How about say Rob? How about you, Rob? How do you find in conclusion in this film?
Sorry, I wasn't really paying attention. What's happening?
Give me your final thoughts on the film.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Shut the fuck up. It's bad. It's bad. No, sorry. No.
Such a tart. Yeah, no, I love it. Like it's if you take it just on sort of like face value of like it's Edgar Wright making the action film that he always dreamt of making. I think it's wonderful. I think it completely hits the purpose that he was going for.
Let's go with John, I guess.
What?
In conclusion.
In conclusion, yeah, it's like I said, it's one of my favorite movies, and yeah, there's several things about it that aren't perfect, but I also don't expect perfection out of media in general. And yeah, apart from like the scene that I mentioned that is my least favorite, I pretty much have nothing bad to say about it, and it's a good time.
Okay. Ben.
Yeah.
It would have been better as a miniseries.
No.
Oh, fuck me. Get out of here.
No, it didn't need to be anything like that. It was perfect for what it went to achieve and what it wanted to be from the start. It just had a great thorough line of a great character, that with great motivation and amazing choreography, a brilliant soundtrack that just went with every scene that was chosen, that Edgar Wright scripted, and I think it just had a really good journey from Baby's original where he was and where he ended up. I thought it was spot on for me.
Okay, fair enough. Manuel, because you're about to go sleep. What's your final conclusions?
You did fantastically, Emmanuel. You did good.
Thanks. Have fun. Have problems. But yeah, it's okay.
I heard you had fun and you had problems.
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Oh, okay. All right,
But
fair
it
enough.
was okay. It was okay.
All right, it's okay. was okay. It wasn't shit. It wasn't great. It's okay. Okay. All right. Pat, how about you? What was your in conclusion to the movie? How was your in conclusion to this film?
It's good.
It's good. Okay. Not great. It's good. Okay. Then, Alex, what is your in conclusion, please?
My conclusion. I think that Baby Driver is objectively a good film.
Uh-huh.
I think the Baby Driver equally has some problems with it, and that's okay, and it doesn't stop it being a good film. And obviously just ignoring the sort of stylistic points of it, because obviously stylistically fucking phenomenal. Like, they did a fucking fantastic job. Like, can't fault it. But yeah, I think there's a temptation to just call it a perfect film, and I don't think it is. I think it has some kind of some plot issues, and that's okay. Some plot issues doesn't make it not a good film, but
So, an almost perfect film, but a bit flawed slightly.
definitely a bit flawed, and that's okay. It doesn't stop it being good. I like Baby Driver a lot.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know. Okay,
You cut me
So-
short. I was gonna have at least 300 more words, but that's okay. That's a nice little.
okay. So, roll credits. Roll credits. Is this how you guys end this shit now? Roll credits, and the credits